Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time for the first ever movie review on the Willie Does Wrestling YouTube channel. The first movie review in this channel's history. A little bit of a break from wrestling because of the wild week we've had and just a little bit of a refresher. Joining me today, though, as always, it is the one and only number one MJF stan, Dylan of the Last Week in Wrestling podcast, and channel regular, friend of the channel, Asa from No Bones About Wrestling. Boys, how was the movie experience for you guys, first off? I'm going to start with Dylan.
It was. I definitely remembered a lot of it while I was watching it all over again. But fair warning, the last 15 minutes of the movie, I did fall asleep and didn't watch it all the way to the credits. So technically, it's not a full movie review, but I do know what happens. I know we were just talking off air about it and kind of just confirming certain scenes and stuff like that. But it was
Oh, by the
fun,
way,
man.
this happened.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, this was just a fun moment where we didn't have to talk about wrestling, and
Yeah.
it wasn't wrestling related. I feel like all of us here, we put out a lot of content wrestling related wise these past 2 weeks, and it was a nice nice little break from it all. And I was like, okay, I definitely need to do this every few weeks. Definitely need a new movie review every few weeks.
Yeah, maybe every second week or something. Asa, how was the movie for you, first off?
Watched it home on TV, the surround sound.
Oh,
Ooh.
We never go anywhere, so we spend our money at home, for the home theater stuff. We live on 6th Street, so we call it the 6th Street Cinema.
Oh, that's really dope.
That's a creative name.
So we just, watched it here, and man, I forgot I hadn't seen this movie. It's been a couple years, and man, some parts of it are bad. Some parts are real dumb.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Some parts I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I mean, just logic wise. Some parts are awesome.
Oh yeah.
But some parts are just don't make sense. So we'll get into all that, I'm sure. But I mean, I enjoyed watching it again. It's not my favorite of either series, but it's also not the worst of either series.
I'd say it's one of the most enjoyable of both series, but at least for me anyway, because I'm a sucker for both Freddy and Jason. So just even having a movie where they even share a little bit of screen time together, I'm all fine with. But we'll get into all of our thoughts in a little bit. Of course, this is a movie review. I forgot to say the fucking title of the movie. Freddy versus Jason. Of course, Freddy Krueger. You got the main antagonist of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Jason Voorhees, the main protagonist of the Friday the 13th films. If you haven't seen either series, I question your sanity. Yeah, of course, it took a while for this to happen because I guess New Line Cinema, it took a while for them to get both rights to both franchises. They did, and then they ultimately decided to throw this together. And it was released in 2003, a whole 3 days after I was born, ladies and gentlemen. 3 days.
God.
I think that's so crazy. One of my favorite.
That is crazy.
One of my favorite horror movies was born literally 3 days after I was. So. Hey.
Well, because that dates me. Because I'll tell you how old I am. Is I grew up where this was like a debate on the playground, was who would win, Freddy or Jason, who would win in a fight, and this is something we grew up with, and it was crazy. So it was crazy when it finally became an actual movie, something that I'd been talking about for 14 years of my life, who would win in a fight. So it's cool to finally see it on the big screen when it happens,
Now we need Michael and Jason. I want to see that fucking fight. But yeah, no, so we're going to get right into this movie. We'll do a little plot synopsis. We'll give our thoughts in between. And yeah, just overall ratings. Just have some fun. Talk about something other than wrestling. Might be long, might be short. You never know. And yeah, if you like movies, be sure to subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and go subscribe to Last Week in Wrestling and follow No Bones About Wrestling on Spotify. So let's talk about plot of the movie. We start off with one Mr. Freddy Krueger giving his origins about how he used to murder kids, and you know, then the parents came in, burned his ass. Somehow my man got to be the dream monster. I know when Freddy's dead, they had like those little fucking floating things that are like, hey, you're evil, we'll take over your form and you could join the dream world or something. But yeah, so he gives his little thing, and then he gives this plot point, and this will be our first debate part of the show. He gives this plot point where it's been so long since he went over and killed people that people are starting to forget about him, and people aren't fearing him, and because they don't fear him, he can't kill people in the dreams. Like, he can technically still fuck with people, but he can't kill them. So he sends Jason to go and do the dirty work for him.
Yeah, like out of all the things or people Freddy could do to regain that fear factor, he decides to go to Camp Lakewood to bring back Jason out of
Camp Crystal Lake, yeah.
Crystal Lake, thank you. Fucking like brings him back, who probably just got killed for the umpteenth time at this stage.
Oh fuck, I forgot how many movies there are.
Yeah, like, you know, brings him back. And of course he plays the role to bring him back as Jason's mother to talk to him. Where he's like, she's like, you have to come back, Jason, for the kids, Jason. And you need to take the kids. They didn't watch you, Jason. And just just redoing the whole first movie over again, just in case like no one watched any of the other ones, which, you know, at this time, like Willie said, you know, he just was born like 3 days after this movie was made, and you
3
know,
days before.
3 days before, and then, you know, people his age or even younger than him, or I'm sorry, older than him a little bit, watch this movie, was probably like, what the hell is this lady talking about? And probably had to go back to watch all of the origins of course, Jason, and like figure out that whole ploy. But yeah, you know, I don't know, like the whole concept of like Freddy lost his ability to kill in the dreams because it's been so long, and now needs to have Jason come and give that fear factor to these victims. It's just like, I don't understand. That's what threw me off throughout the whole fucking movie. Like
why did he pick Jason? Why not Satan or something like that? You know,
why? Like, because like to me, like, you know, as we get throughout this movie, you know, the people we get introduced to and everything, they know already who Freddy Krueger is.
Right.
They had people that they were close to had an incident with Freddy Krueger that landed them in a psychiatric ward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that was already established prior to Freddy asking for Jason's help, to me was like, why didn't they just have it where Freddy's still powerful enough to do his normal routine, and maybe they just are near Camp Crystal Lake and Jason comes back to like intervene and on his own accord.
Yeah,
he just kill to kill.
Well, I know this
like, oh, sorry, Asa.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I know this came out of like several. Oh, Willie went away.
Well, he's gone. It's now me and your show. Now it's me and your show, buddy.
I don't want to talk while the host is gone. Well, I guess I'll talk.
My bad. My mom was bringing me some Kit Kat bars, so I didn't want people to see that.
So I know that this came out of several drafts of scripts, and so where the Freddy thing came from was there was one specific draft where it had the same deal where he's not strong enough to, kill people in their dreams anymore. And what used to happen in this draft of the script is kids, like, to get their kicks, they would fall asleep on purpose, and they would go in the dream world just to beat Freddy's ass. And that was
better.
And that was a draft of the script.
A better movie idea, because if Freddy came out, like, let's say Freddy was in a bar and he was drinking because he's been having a rough week of not being able to kill kids. And all of a sudden, like, man, I need to get these fucking kids. I don't know how to. And someone tells him about this guy named, Jason, who lived in the lake, unfortunately died, because nobody was watching him or whatnot. And he came back and he killed all these camp, counselors and shit like that. And then he sets himself on a journey to find Jason and have, like, build this, like, bond per se between the two murderers to then take out these kids, not only just one way, being in the dream, but now being in, like, reality as well. So you were kind of fucked either way. And then, like, maybe one person gets a little more jealous for, like, the people, how many he's killed, and that kind of brings the Jason v. Freddy movie together.
It kind of did in the actual movie, because it was like, hey, only kill a few people and then fuck off. But Jason kept, killing all these people and interfering with Freddy's kills. So that was kind of how they
you saw that happen in the movie. Like, when he finally got one girl when they were at the rave in the middle of the cornfield, and she was in the locker, and he opened the locker and he was just about to kill her, but then all of a sudden she disappeared, and he's like, she was mine. She was mine. And he, and it was Jason that fucking killed her, because of, the incident that was going to happen where the guy was on top of the girl and like, that's how he got the kill. Like, something along those lines, I think, would have made the movie a little bit more, like, interesting compared to being like, what? How am I going to go? Like, how did he even know about Jason? Is my question. Like,
I think they said in the movie, it was like, I searched through the realms of hell and I found him because he's in hell, and he's a perfect guy to make them remember.
Yeah,
because the last thing we saw in Jason Goes to Hell was Freddy's claw come up and grab the hockey mask.
Yeah,
right.
So that kind of led up to this. I mean, it took him 10 years, but that led up to this.
10 years of anticipation.
Yeah, it really was, man. Like, I thought it never was going to happen. I really thought it was never going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it just was like it was more comical at points throughout this movie than scary and gory and graphic. Like,
well, part of that
Jason's a graphic guy. Jason slices your head off like he did to the guy and the guy's father. Like, Jason's very violent. He's very graphic. He'll tear you limb to limb. He'll kind of reminds me a little of, like, Leatherface in a sense, without the chainsaw aspect, and then Freddy's just like, he gets in your psyche and, like, you can't sleep. And if you do wake up, you're really still in a dream state, but now you brought Freddy in that dream state. So now you're fucked double time, because even if you try to go back to bed and go back to sleep, you go right back to Freddy's playground. So it's just like, wait a second, how the hell do I wake up? Like, where is the bend between reality and factuality and stuff? It's just like, I'm like, what the hell is this?
I mean,
movie?
you're talking about it being a little too jokey. I think a lot of that had to do with the director, Ronnie Yu.
He directed Bride of Chucky.
Exactly. Yeah, he directed Bride of Chucky.
I never watched it.
He directed a movie. I think it was called, like, it was in Asia. I think it was called, like, The Bride with White Hair or something like that. And it was like a horror comedy. And it was weird why they got him in the first place, because, like I said, he directed this movie. I know I'm messing up the title, but it was called something like The Bride with White Hair, The Girl with White Hair. and it was like a horror comedy. And it had these neat effects, and they liked the way the effects were, so they got him and brought him to America. Even though he spoke limited English, they got him to direct Freddy versus Jason. When a lot of people thought Freddy versus Jason is such an American thing, they wanted an American director. They wanted someone who'd been around for this like cultural phenomenon of the slashers. They wanted someone who'd experienced that in America.
Wes Craven was right there. Wes Craven was right there. They could have gotten him.
Yeah, like honestly, I feel like they could have took like Carpenter, Craven, the guy that's done the Jason movies, put him in a room and be like, okay, we saw how it ended with Jason Goes to Hell. That was our initial plan. We were going to make something of that spinoff, but now we're here. Where did we leave off that we could pick up from to kind of reestablish that timeline going into the next solo movies for these guys? You know, have that Carpenter-esque horror aspect where Jason's coming out of the shadows a little bit more than he's used to, and having that more of an eerie effect on even Freddy when he's in those dream states. Because now, mind you, we're now in the 21st century when this movie was made. So special effects now have updated immensely.
Yeah,
CGI,
some of these effects and some
more,
of these like action scenes just
which
look
is so
goofy.
ridiculous.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But
the practical effects in the movie are awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's so
The
funny
CGI,
about it. It's
though,
like these CGI moments are terrible, but
CGI
these actual this was good. This was a good moment. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just so funny. It's really so funny.
Then we cut into this chick that's in hell. I guess she's in hell, and Jason goes over and he kills her because you can murder people in hell, I guess. And then Jason's 60-year-old mother comes in and is like, hey, you know, kids, be very bad and live again and kill them all. Because like Freddy should have done that to himself. Hey, live again. Okay. But so after that we get the title card, and then we're introduced to our main characters. Lori, the blondie, Kelly Rowland. Oh, what's your fucking name? Kia.
So Lori, kind of a nod to Halloween. Main character being named Lori.
Funny. And that's why I'm like, why didn't they get John Carpenter? They literally gave him an ode as the main protagonist of this whole fucking movie, whose name is Lori, and the protagonist in the movies of Halloween is Lori.
And Lori's playing a high school character. She had her breasts hanging out the whole movie too, you know?
Listen, there was a lot of breasts hanging out throughout this whole fucking movie. Like that scene in the beginning where Jason comes back, the girls, and you know what's so funny? I thought I put in the wrong tape by mistake. Because like when in the beginning of the scene, in the beginning of the movie, this girl's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go skinny dipping." I'm like, "Wait, did I put skinny dipping?" I know I pressed play. I don't know if I put it in the right movie. And then she's skinny dipping and whatever. She's doing her thing. She goes in the water, and then she comes out, and then she sees Jason, and I'm like, oh no! All right. I put it in the right movie. And then you know all the other stuff happened, and I'm like, oh, well, all right. Well, that's my first pair.
That's a good thought. I guess that's hell. Yeah, I don't know what if it's.
It's like Jason can't run around, and then he got the talk with Freddy Mom. I'm gonna call him Freddy Mom.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like he's still dead. So that chick was showing her tits and going skinny dipping in hell?
Ghost tits.
No, that was
Ghost tits.
That was
Ghost tits.
Yeah. No, that was Crystal Lake.
That was Crystal Lake
still in
Crystal
hell.
Lake.
In hell.
So technically, no. I don't think
he's dead.
No,
he was
dead. Yeah, he's dead.
What did he do?
Is just there in Camp Crystal
Lake. How
Lake.
did that happen though?
No, he's dead. That's like hell. That's hell.
The other fucking
that's literally hell.
That he
because
died
Freddy
in.
said, "I searched the realm of hell."
That's what I'm saying though. Is in the movie Jason Goes to Hell, he's supposed to be.
Heaven knows how hell works.
But when we see him now, he's back at Camp Crystal Lake.
Not yet. Freddy hasn't woken him up yet when we see the ghost
Freddy
tits.
didn't wake him up. When we see ghost tits, that's the running joke throughout this film.
Yeah.
Ghost tits.
I don't know. I think I see, like, that's what threw me off, because, like, I thought they're still, from where this movie picked up from, they picked up at Camp Crystal Lake, which made sense.
That made it confusing.
And I was like, okay, Camp Crystal Lake, that's where Jason normally always is. He's either in the water, he's either burned alive, he's either decapitated or stabbed or hung or a million and one ways to die. Like, you know, but his body's not in hell anymore. Like, his body's still on Camp
Well, he's buried.
Lake.
Right.
It could be like maybe an illusion. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just a throw.
Maybe it was just an illusion made by Freddy to make Jason think he was still in Camp Crystal Lake. I don't fucking know.
Maybe.
True.
See, now that's not a bad
True.
idea either. Because that makes more sense for him when he came back to kill the girl.
That's true. That's true. Could have been made by Freddy. That makes more sense than anything, really.
Yeah, Freddy could have easily made that.
In hell, if he went to hell, we would have saw him have that conversation with Jason in hell. Instead of having Freddy just be like, oh, I searched the depths of hell, and this is who I found. It's like, no, you kind of just played a trick on Jason, making him believe he was still at Camp Crystal Lake with ghost titties outside, and he brought back the guy, because I guess he don't like ghost titties. So, you know, he's not a fan of ghost titties, I guess. And, you know, he's taking them all out, which sucks. I think that's a terrible idea. You know, who doesn't love a good pair of ghost titties? So, you know, now you got him doing all this crazy shit. And then we go into the title card, and I'm like, what the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
PlayStation. And I'm watching at 11 something at night now. Like, what have I done to myself here? Like, you know, I lost it. I was like, wait a second. Hold on. I don't know if I put in the right movie anymore. You know, so it was just, And then, we get there. Then we get to the house. And that's what I was saying before, was like, the people in the house knows that house was already attacked by Freddy because their two friends were in the
they don't know. They don't know anything about Freddy.
All they know was, like, the mom died in the house a couple years back. Oh, no, the dad only knew that.
She thinks the mom died in a car accident.
Yeah, that's right. The dad only knew that because, I guess, he tried to stop Freddy from killing her or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so we're introduced. So there's Lori, Kelly Rowland, and Gib, I think her name is, freaking Belly Top.
Yes.
And, you know, they're all talking. What is it? Fuck, Marry, Kill with the three.
Fuck, Marry.
Yeah. Why would you play that game? I don't know women talk, but it's like, why would you pick the Three Stooges?
That can't be what women do when they talk. I don't know what the fuck they do, but that can't be it.
If anything, if this was made in like 2023, it'd be like, oh, Jason dumped me and he went to the dance without me, you little dumb nut. But yeah, so then these two dudes show up. Leather jacket there, Trey. And Blake in the blue shirt.
Right, which no one likes Blake. None of them like Blake. Which sucks. He seems like a nice guy.
Seems like a nice guy.
You know what I mean?
In the fucking house
like a nice guy.
And sexually harassing Lori right in the friend's face. And Kelly Rowland lets that. Yeah. That's why it's like, okay, 2023 standards, it kind of made me, you know, like, well, okay, what the fuck is this scene? When Blake put his arms around Lori, and I was like, danger, danger. Back in the day, I was like, oh, he's just trying to get to know her. Now, in this culture, I'm like, no, don't do that.
Now that's assault. That's assault, brother.
That's pretty much, yeah. Lucky I didn't do that at school, otherwise. So yeah, and then I guess before that, Kelly Rowland and Lori have a conversation being like, hey, you need to see someone.
Blake sucks.
No, well, Blake sucks. And also you need to see someone because Will, which is Jason Ritter's character in the psych ward, it's like, hey, he moved and he didn't, call you. trying to set up that whole Will subplot with him in the psych ward. And yeah, then Trey and Gib go upstairs, and Friday the 13th, gotta have sex scene.
Mm-hmm.
So bitch goes over, has a shower, and then this is probably one of, if not my favorite kill in this movie, where Jason pops up and he just stabs the guy like 17 times in the bed, and then he folds him like a bed sandwich.
A lawn chair.
Bed sandwich.
Literally, like just yank. Like if the 17 stabbings with the machete wasn't enough to kill him, the lawn chair effect definitely severed him, and that was it.
That's the best kill in the movie, probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I can't believe all that blood leaked into the bathroom. And she was like, "What is this?" Like, the moment I stepped in it, I would have been like, "Who's ever in this house, the house is yours."
I'd jump out the window.
You take over the mortgage, the gas, the electric. It's yours. It's yours, my guy. This is it. I'm out. Let me just grab a couple things.
That was funny. Like, she stepped on the blood, and then she looked at it and was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
What? Someone spill red wine?
Yeah.
A lot of it? Well, no, they were drinking booze. They were drinking beer. So it's like, someone got the red wine.
There was a funny line. She did something after they fucked, and he was like, I don't like to be touched after.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah, it's like, I guess you're trying to, like,
That was such a dick.
Yeah,
there you go.
I didn't feel bad when he died. And when he got
and then
I was like, you deserve that, you piece of shit.
And then she's like, "Fine, I'll have a shower." Good. Your hair smells like menthols anyway. It's like,
yeah. That guy was Trey had it coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to feel bad for the guy when he turned into a bed sandwich.
Well, that's why I believe, Jason's supposed to be the face in the movie, and Freddy's the heel.
Yeah. I felt that vibe too, and especially around the end when the kids feel bad for him. It's like, hey, we need him alive so we can kill Freddy. It's like he's the big bad guy, and everyone's trying to gang up on Freddy. And then after they discover the body and the cops come, one of the cops is like, "Wait, this is the house, 1420 Elm. It has to be Freddy Krueger."
We got to go back though a quick second, because
oh no, I completely forgot about.
She starts banging on the cop's window, and the cop rolls it down. He goes, "Do you need any help?" And she's like, "What the fuck do you think?"
Yeah,
I completely forgot about
blood. Like,
what the fuck do you think?
Was pretty good. I mean, I liked the fact that their reaction was run out of the fucking house, flag down a cop, like an actual reasonable reaction. It was nice to see. And then when the cop said, "Yes, still a reasonable reaction," what the fuck do you think? Yeah, I need help.
He's like,
it was nice
my
to see.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think I need help. Oh, and this is a nice point too by JoJo before we get on with the review. Jason has always been the face. He's killing for revenge for his mom. Hey, yeah.
Well, and I have a whole theory
to be made on that one, because, like, okay, maybe the first two movies.
The first two, at least,
like,
yeah.
The third and fourth one, I think now he's just becoming very excited about it, and now
Jason in space and Jason X.
Well, in the later ones, I have a whole theory. I wrote a whole paper about it. I'll just tell you in short, in the later Friday the 13th movies, Jason's a good guy because they give us these characters that you couldn't possibly ever like or want to be around, and the whole point of it is Jason has come to murder these people and relieve us of having to see them anymore, And so that's why I think Jason's a good guy in the later Friday the 13th movies.
And with Freddy, they always give us characters that we actually are supposed to like throughout the whole series. Technically, the whole series. Yeah, Freddy killed because he wanted revenge. I'm fans of both, but Jason's better. Well, technically, they both killed because they wanted revenge, but
no.
But
Freddy's a pedophile, and he wanted children.
Actually, that's a lie. Freddy killed children in the original. It was in the remake where he was a child molester.
Well, here's the thing. It's never been said that he is a pedophile in the main series. It's been heavily hinted. The closest they ever came to saying it was he loves children, especially little girls.
Right. And
So
Yeah, that
that's
was in
pretty
this
much
movie.
which is
that's
really
pretty
crazy
much saying
because
it.
in the movie too, when Laurie's at the police station and she's like asleep and she sees the girl with the eyes scratched out and
Yeah.
she's like, Freddy loves little kids, especially little girls.
Oh, it was this movie. Okay,
Yeah,
it was this
and
It
I'm
movie.
was
like-
this movie, yeah.
I'm like, oh, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, wait a second. This doesn't seem right anymore.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So that's the quote, because they always in the original series they wanted him to be a marketable character. They still wanted to be able to sell like video games and dolls. So they
Right.
were always very careful to call him a child murderer.
Right.
Never a child molester.
Mhm.
But
you-
I mean, when it's obvious that's what he was,
If you
obviously.
watch the remake of
Ugh.
Freddy,
Ugh.
Freddy is a child molester in the remake.
in the
Ugh.
remake, they actually start off by saying that he's a well-known child killer. And there's a newspaper that flashes across the screen as the worst child killer the town's ever seen. But then as that story continues, it then goes into what he really is, which is a pedophile. Because when you watch the rest of the movie, you see him staring at the little girls and then luring them in one by one by one. Which
Yeah,
is
that was in
so
the remake.
fucking
So,
crazy.
but this is in the
It's
main
so
line where
crazy, dude.
this is in the main line where he's just a child murderer.
Right.
So, and I
Who
said that
likes
in the
little
movie, too.
girls, especially.
Right,
Little
yeah.
girls
That,
especially.
that,
I don't know
that
why you
doesn't
like
help his
murdering
case
girls
at
more.
all.
I don't know why you like murdering girls more, but hey, you know, you do you, fam.
Hey, man,
But anyway,
there's some sick people out in this world. We
oh
don't
yeah,
know
especially.
why these motherfuckers like these little kids, man. I don't know. I don't
And
think we
then-
ever will.
And then this cop is like, wait, this is the house, 1428. This has to be Freddy Krueger. And then the cop, the captain's like, hey,
Don't
you
you
don't
ever
say
say that
this.
goddamn
It's like,
name.
no.
keep Freddy's name out your fucking mouth. But it's like, yeah, and that sets up the whole subplot throughout the whole movie where it's like, hey, you know, let's make sure the town doesn't fear
Yeah, they
Freddy.
do, JoJo. Yeah, they even show what pictures of what Freddy did to the
Yeah,
girl.
like they go through the attic and they find a picture and they have like Freddy kept pictures of what he
Oh
did.
yeah, posing and shit. Oh my god,
Yeah,
wild.
fucking
But yeah, no,
crazy.
yeah. So yeah, we get to where you said the cop goes, this is him. This is his house. This is Krueger. And the moment he said Krueger, he's like, you don't ever say his name around me again. It ain't him. You shut your mouth. And he was like, okay. But he knows that he just got the worst case imaginable to have. As mind you, he just moved from a different state to here, and this was the first case that he caught within his first 2 weeks of being a police officer. And this was the case that he decided to catch out of the fucking blue because he was driving down the block one day in Elm Street, and this is what he decided to catch. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like the cop never tells him, like, and the captain never tells him, hey, there's this one individual.
nothing,
He's our
no back
Beetlejuice.
information, no little heads up, no nothing. No nothing.
They don't talk about this guy named Freddy Krueger because otherwise he's gonna go around killing people in his dream or something like that. It's like, oh, okay, sounds a little weird, but I'll buy it. Yeah, so that sets up this whole subplot through the whole movie that everyone is trying to cover up Freddy Krueger to the point where they make a whole fucking a psych ward, and these two kids, Will, which was Laurie's ex-boyfriend played by Jason Ritter, and Mark, this blonde guy, are both there. And you know, Will hears
Just blood.
Will hears about the murder and like, hey, I need to go there. That's Laurie's.
Laurie's in that house.
You know, if I was in a psych ward for 4 years, I'd probably forget about Laurie. I'm sorry. I would have been like, oh shit, I have to make sure they don't tranquilize my ass today. But yes.
Yeah, it's a whole different worrying spectrum from outside going to sleep to inside going down by a fucking bear tranquilizer gun. Like, totally 50-50, different split of the coin here. Like, what's worse, Freddy or that pink tranquilizer shit? I don't know.
And then the blonde guy, he starts talking about like his brother, I guess had nightmares with Freddy, and he either died by Freddy or he committed suicide because he had all these nightmares.
Well, they marked it up as suicide.
So it might have been Freddy. Yeah, Freddy killed him.
But they said was
he talking about, was Mark talking about Freddy in the psych facility?
Yeah. So
right, the news. Yeah. The newscast.
Him and the guy, the blonde-haired kid, started talking about it because he was like, I need to see Lori. Like, Lori could be in trouble, this, that, and the third. And he was just like, dude, like, they're going to brush it underneath the rug like they did with my brother. They said it was a suicide when it wasn't. It was
because then that's when they're getting the hypnosil. And then they're like, what the fuck is this stuff anyway?
Yeah.
And it's, we know from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, it suppresses your dreams. So you can't spread for Freddy. So everybody at Weston Hills, the psychiatric facility, is being given, all these kids are being given hypnosil so they can't spread Freddy around.
And so is Lori.
Yeah, Lori's given hypnosil by her dad. Yeah.
The dad.
It appears only after the murder.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because now he believes that it could be who they think it is, because the moment after he opens up the capsule and puts it in her drink, the cop comes in and he goes, I just want to let you know, Will and the other guy, he escaped. And we're on the case.
That whole escape plan was fucking dog shit. My man fucking exposes his ass to the fucking guy. He gets tranked so much. And he manages to pickpocket the guy's fucking keys and they're able to escape somehow. Yeah, okay. Right.
Yeah, and he's being drugged. Yeah, he's being dragged down the hallway, like unconscious, but he still manages. He's like, I got the card, I got the keys.
He started jingling in his pocket, like nothing. No.
Yeah, how are the keys not jingling?
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, so they escape, and yeah, like you said, the dad gives her the drink, and is like, hey, you need to sleep, you need to drink your juice. And all that shit, and Lori's
like,
juice.
I'm Jim Jones. Drink the juice. Drink the juice.
Lori's like, nah, fam. I'm gonna go to school. Oh shit! Before that was the night before where Blake, the guy in the blue shirt.
Gotta mention that.
Yeah, is like he dreams about a goat in his front yard. And then Freddy.
Oh, yeah.
Freddy tries to do the whole shadow thing and fucking kill him. And it was like, oh shit, I'm not strong enough yet. But
it's like a giant shadow Freddy at the end of his road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, all right, I'm not strong enough, so I'll let Jason fuck around a little bit longer. And then, then all the school shit happens.
Well, then Jason chops off his dad's head.
Oh, yeah, he left the dad's head.
Right, because first he was going to chop off the kid's head, but then instead when the kid woke up from the goats thing, he chopped his dad sitting there, and his dad's just like stone-faced, just sitting there. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? Oh, his dad's head's gone. His dad's head's gone. Like, oh, my God. And he looks around, and there's Jason. Yeet! You're done too, buddy.
One thing I will always be confused about that scene is that the dad's head is perfect in that position until he starts moving him. No blood splattered all over the place. Like Jason's good at cleaning, I guess.
Yeah.
Jason clamped the artery in the neck. He made sure he did a whole.
It's like a Lego minifigure.
Yeah,
there you go.
He did a whole procedure.
Don't move it though.
Before the kid woke up.
Don't move it, otherwise it'll break.
It was
he kills him.
Someone handed him a scalpel. All right, hand me the clamp. Let me clamp this artery real quick. All right, now we're good. All right, we can place the head back on top.
Yeah, one thing I'll always love about that scene was when beforehand he was like, "I'm gonna get that motherfucker Trey, I assure you." And then 2 minutes later, yeah, dead. So then they go to school, and then Mark shows up because Lori's all talking about the dream she had in the police station, where it's like, hey, there's these little girls, and then Mark is giving her like the Freddy lore, where it's like, hey, this guy got burned by parents, and he comes after you in your dreams, and all that shit.
Yeah,
Will
he sings the
shows up,
song. He sings
yeah,
the song for her,
sings the 1, 2,
which
Freddy's
is the
coming for
greatest
you.
song in a horror movie I think they ever made.
Oh
And
yeah.
not for nothing, every Halloween you'll hear someone sing it.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter what. You could be old, young, middle-aged. Someone will say, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And it's just like, oh, now I want to go put on a Freddy movie right now. Automatically.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah. So then Will shows up, and Lori's so flabbergasted. It's like, what?
Yeah, she's behooved by the fact that Will is out of the psych ward, so she passes
Well, she
out.
has no idea that he's even in the psych ward. He thought he fucked off, like moved out of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's really funny is he later goes, didn't you get the letters? And she's like, no, did you get mine? And he's like,
What
no,
letters?
the mail probably never sent them. And it was the fucking dad the whole time, that piece of shit. That damn piece of shit.
Fucking dad. But anyways, so yeah, afterward, oh yeah, one of my favorite dream sequences where Kelly Rowland has a magazine and she's reading it, and
Oh, yeah, with the nose job and
got
yeah.
your nose.
Yeah, she's like obsessed with wanting plastic surgery on her nose.
Yeah.
That's like
I don't
her
understand
only
why.
her only character trait. Yeah, I don't know why.
She's gorgeous as is. I don't know why.
But she
Why
looks
ruin yourself like that? Yeah.
right. She looks through it and Freddy comes out with it, got your nose, and we get this terrible CGI where
Yeah.
he pulls her nose off.
Well,
That's pretty funny.
JoJo just reminded me of another terrible CGI scene. But we'll get
when
to
the
that
dude
later.
smokes with Freddy.
Yeah. Worm Freddy. But after
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
after that, they go to the library, Will and Mark, because they're getting chased down by the cops. And Mark is like, hey, this is the day that my brother committed suicide. Why is that blacked out? And then they really are like, the town's getting rid of them. They're blacking everything out. And that's something that nowadays...
They don't want the child murderer and molester to have any type of claim to fame.
Yeah, something that will always confuse me was they literally blacked it out. Imagine that school history book. Like, the Nostalgia Critic made a movie review and made that point. It's like, hey, why is this profile on Adolf Hitler blacked out? Why are the Twin Towers back where they were? What's this? Oh, that's all because they all didn't happen. It's like, oh, okay. All right, I believe you. Like, what?
I don't know. If you go to New York right now, there ain't no Twin Towers. I'll tell you that. And either I'm taking one of those Hippocil fucking pills myself, or
what do you mean, man? 9/11 didn't happen.
2001 era never fucking happened. I tell you that. I don't know, man.
Go to the CNN archives, are blacked out. Hey, why is that? Oh, because nothing happened that day. Oh, okay. All right.
It's fucking wild.
So yeah, after that they go to this big rave party, big rave party in the middle of a cornfield, and oh yeah, one of the... I don't know why they chose a cornfield.
The first thing that came to my mind. We saw this scene, and we see everybody raving, all the glow sticks, the music. And normally, raves, or at least when I was, a little younger than I am now, when raves happened, they were like auditoriums or warehouses or homes or in a closed setting.
Yeah,
like all the lights were the point. And for the drugs or whatever you took.
Somewhere with power sockets.
Yeah, you need to charge your phone, boy.
Right. And then they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna elevate this rave to a new level. We're gonna have no electrical output. We're just gonna have glow sticks and cornfields, and that's it.
Cornfield.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? What in God's name is going on here? Yeah. It still makes me laugh so hard when I see that scene. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah, and then by the way, there's this nerd. His name's Linderman, I guess.
Yo, he's
Linderman.
the champ. He told Kelly Rowland off.
I was gonna talk
right
about
to
that.
her face.
Holy fuck!
Right
You
to her
roasted that chick. He's like, he taking shit from nobody. He probably took that shit for 4 years and was like, okay, today's the day. Today's the day I tell this chick off.
I just chugged a whole bunch of beer from a keg. I feel like a man today. Guess what, Kelly? You a bitch. And by the way, you probably hate yourself. All right? That's it.
By the way, your Nelly song sucked.
Linderman shows up and like Jim. Basically, they've stolen the character Jim Bob or whatever his name is from Varsity Blues.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken him and put him in Freddy versus Jason, and then he forces Linderman to drink from the keg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny too. And then Will shows up and then is like, yeah, no, didn't you get my letters? What fucking letters? Oh, the doctors from Weston Hills must not have mailed them or something like that. And then, exposition dump that we already talked about earlier. Then Gib goes through the cornfields for some fucking reason and sees Trey disembodied, by the way.
Right.
You know you're drunk when you see a disembodied body telling you to, like, hey, let's go. So I guess she's sleeping at this point because she's really going to a boiler room in the dream world, but in reality she's like dead passed out in the middle of the cornfield. And there's this fucking like glow stick guy. Like, what the fuck you wearing, bud? So he's going to go and do you-know-what, because I don't want to get, age restricted. He goes to do you-know-what, or at least try. And Gib in the dream world is in this boiler room. Freddy's fucking with her. He's like, you're the one that killed Trey. No, don't worry about my little errand boy. The only thing to fear is fear himself. Like, man,
Thanks for taking the JFK line right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, she goes into this locker. And like you said earlier, yeah, Freddy's going to fucking kill her. And then Jason steals the kill with one assist.
That's probably one of my favorite moments of Freddy being mad throughout one of the funny moments of this movie, when he was just about to kill her. And Jason kills him and he's like, she was mine! She was mine! I'm like, come on, dude, don't get upset. Like, there's been plenty of children for you in a little bit. Like, just calm the fuck down, man. Just calm down.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I'm mad at him for doing what he was supposed to do in the beginning of the movie. And then,
now he's having too much fun.
What do you mean? And then one of my favorite scenes in the movie, the bullies, the fat guy and the skinnier guy are smoking weed, and Jason's right there behind him, and he's like, hey, this is a rave, not a Halloween party. And then the guy keeps poking Jason and then cracks the dude's neck backwards.
Yeah. Jason turns his head around 180 degrees.
Perfect snap backwards.
Yeah. And then Jason just goes fucking Super Saiyan because he gets set on fire, but he just casually pulls out his machete and walks, chases the other guy through the cornfield, throws the machete as if he was playing darts at this party, and hits the guy.
Yeah, it's a great shot when he's walking through the cornfield,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had to be the whole reason for the fucking the corn rave, was somebody came up with that shot and they went backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody came up with that and they went backwards to make that shot happen.
Yeah, because like otherwise that whole scene didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like at all in the slightest.
Yeah, and then Jason has a lot too much fun at this point. He's just casually killing motherfuckers. He's slicing and
Stacking
dicing.
them and stacking them.
Yeah, pinning them, stacking them, winning. Fucking, Jason was just murdering motherfuckers. And yeah, after that, the plot starts to get a little bit slow at this point. We're focusing more on character development at this point. Because Will's trying to tell Lori that, hey, a couple years ago, I saw your dad kill your mom. Because Lori thinks that the mom died in the car accident.
Yep.
Will's like, no, I snuck to your window and I saw him kill her. And then the dad just pops up like fucking
out of nowhere.
He's just like
nowhere
on the fucking window.
What did you say I did, boy?
It's like, yeah, it's like, you say my name, motherfucker? And then he goes and attacks Will, and is like, I'm sending you back to the fucking mental institute. And because he said that, Lori's like, wait, do you work at Weston Hills? Like, why didn't you tell me about Will? And the dad's like, well, yeah. I do some
side work there.
I do some consulting.
He tries to brush it off like it never happened. He's just like, oh, yeah, I occasionally work there, Monday through Friday. I get the weekends off. I also get a 401k, but I don't really work there. Works about it. Oh, and by the way, do you want to take this drug with me real quick? So I'm
going to give you some pills so you can forget that this shit ever happened.
Yeah. Can we just forget this conversation happened?
Can we forget the fact
that Daddy, we cannot.
Yeah, can we forget the fact that I choked your boyfriend out and saying I'm going to send him back to a mental institute, never to be heard from again?
And killed your mother? No? Alrighty. I guess this movie will continue then.
Yeah. So she runs away. And Will catches up with her somehow. Like he knew exactly where she was after she ran away. And then they go to Mark. And then this is one of my favorite dream sequences of the movie, where Mark is asleep and he goes to try to take some drugs, and Freddy is taking
to stay away.
Right.
Yeah. And it's taking the form of his dead brother.
He said it in high school. He was like, coffee's going to be your best friend. Become friends with coffee.
Coffee. Make friends with it.
Yeah, you want to know what Mark doesn't do throughout this whole movie?
Drink coffee. I never seen him drink a got the whole fucking film. I said, wait a second. How did you put that little thing in there, but you don't drink one fucking Toll House? Like, come on, buddy. Go ahead. Make yourself some fucking shit. Let's go, man. Like, I want to see that blue container. I want to see you pour it. Let's go, buddy. Like, no, nothing.
He's just casually sleeping there, not even drinking a thing of coffee. And then his brother pulls up with a bath full of blood, being like, oh, that's right. Everyone forgot. That's why they're not afraid. That's why I had to get Jason. But he won't stop. And it's like,
right, now he's complaining that Jason's taking all the fun.
He's complaining to innocent victims. He's complaining to innocent victims, being like, hey, this guy, I had to get him to kill for me, but now he won't stop, and now I fucking want to kick his ass.
You know what's funny about this scene, and what made me think of this thing was, I don't know if you guys watched or maybe seen clips of this show on Netflix that's like I can't remember, but the scene is this guy drives his car into this like clothing store, and it's a hot dog car, and people are like, who's responsible for crashing their car into the store? Like, we should get him. We should call the police and all this stuff. And it's the guy in a hot dog costume, and he goes, "Yeah, call the police. Yeah, or maybe we can just like talk to him real sternly and tell him never to do it again." Maybe we can just tell him to get in his car and tell him to book it and leave town and never come back again. And they're like, it's you. He's like, it's not me. How would you think it's me? And it's a hot dog car, and the guy's dressed as a hot dog or whatever. And he's just like, how would you think it's me? And he was like, and the people were like, oh, well, I mean, look at the car and look at you. Like, come on here, like, what are we doing? And the guy points to the other guy who's dressed up in like a suit and tie that looks like a hot dog and everything. And well, it could have been that guy. And this guy dressed up as that, and he's like, no, it's you. He's like, so yeah, we're just gonna let him go now and forget this whole incident happened. All right, like that's like that moment right there when Freddy started complaining that Jason was having all the fun and he wasn't having any fun anymore. That's what that scene made me think of, was that. And I was just like, this is just too funny again.
Yeah, and then Freddy like burns this fucking guy. And then I like how he wakes up momentarily and is like, help me. Drops down, drops up, fucking Freddy slashes his face open. And yeah, and then on his back, it's like, because he's like, I want you to send me a little message. And it's like Freddy's back on his back. Yeah. So it's like, God fucking damn it. So then afterwards, the kids, I guess, all meet up at this clubhouse. I'm going to call it the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse?
And then this,
there's a lot of things that happen in that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
And this rookie cop, who I guess is sick and tired of people being like, hey, we don't know who this motherfucker is. So he knows who the motherfucker is, so he goes over to these kids.
Deputy Stubbs.
Stubbs. What a fucking name.
Scott Stubbs.
Good work today, Stubbs. Right place, right time. And the guy, I saw the guy somewhere who plays Stubbs. He was in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
He played the guy. Yeah, that guy. But anyways, he plays the guy in Scary Movie. I'll say that. So yeah, he goes to these random kids and he's like, hey, I'm going to help you. And I'm going to give you the Jason lore while we're at it, because you gave the fucking Freddy lore earlier. I'm going to do that. Yeah.
And that's the other thing about this movie is, like, how did they give the Freddy lore in the beginning? Then this guy who just came from a different state give this whole backstory of Jason.
How the fuck do I know about Jason?
If he knew about Jason and he also knew about Freddy, why hasn't he said anything throughout all this fucking movie? Like, that's what I'm sitting there thinking. I'm like,
because you would have been fired.
You heard about Freddy. You then came to the state where Freddy likes to hunt. After knowing about Jason, now you notice Jason's here as well. But yet you won't say anything about it to anybody until now. We're about an hour and something into this movie.
Never mind that.
Now it's a good time to talk about it.
This cop goes up to these random kids being like, yeah, I have no idea who the fuck you are, but I'm here now. So you can count on me. It's like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
No fucking sense.
Who is this guy?
No fucking sense.
Like, just because their friends had been killed, he figures they can be useful. But like, what fucking use are they? What use are they?
What's the use? What are they gonna do? Be victims of Jason? Like, that's the use you're gonna have right now.
And the funniest thing about that was, Laurie finds out that you could pull shit from your dreams because, Freddy tried to make out her in the nightmares, and she ripped his fucking ear off. Rips it.
And she brought it back.
Yeah, she brought it back to the real world. And then is like, oh shit, we're not safe awake or asleep. Hey, did you take anything at Weston? It's like, yeah, the only thing we did was take this thing called Hypnosil. We have no fucking clue what it does. But, everyone was taking it. So they have this master plan to break to this federal fucking psych ward. Cop bringing no backup whatsoever. Like, the cop didn't think, hey, there's this place that might have these drugs that, since all these murders keep happening, everyone in town might need. You think you could bring a couple of guys over for backup? I don't want to bring myself and all these useless teenagers. Yeah, is that fine? No? Well, fuck you. Maybe that happened off screen. But these guys all go into the psych ward. And yeah, this is where the most funniest scene in the entire movie fucking comes. The guy stops to take a joint break. And then this CGI worm Freddy with the wackiest music playing in the background
Yeah.
pulls out this fucking CG bong and blows a cloud right in this kid's face and fucks off.
Takes like a super deep hit and
Yeah,
blows all this CGI
Batman smoke right
pot
to their fucking
smoke,
faces.
it's like demon smoke. So who knows what the fuck it is even.
yeah.
But it's like demonic pot
Demons.
smoke.
Yeah,
maybe
that's like
it's
some king
devil's
that's been
lettuce.
sitting for a while. Like, you know.
So yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, Jason kicked the door down. He's there too. He fucking fucks
Right,
the security
right.
guard.
Also, Jason's there as well.
Also,
So
Jason's there too. So they're all fucked.
besides Pothead Freddy, it's also Jason hanging out in the background as well. Jason was so tired of being over at catering. He was like, you know what? I'm going to join this scene as well. Let me just kick down this door to make an entrance.
Yeah, how the fuck did Jason know about Weston Hill?
Like, literally, like, he was probably chowing down on a Hostess cupcake and chicken. And then he was like, oh, wow, Freddy's getting a lot of love in this scene. You know what? Guess what? I'm back, bitch. And that's it. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the
Jason's
fuck?
like the Roman Reigns in this movie. Wait, there's too much focus on this guy. I'm gonna fucking take that. Thank you. But yeah, no. How the fuck did Jason know about Weston Hills? At least Freddy knew it existed. Jason's like, yeah, I'm gonna pop up. I smell teenager.
It's Britney, bitch. Like,
Yeah, it's Britney, bitch. I'm gonna fucking pull up. And yeah, so then like this stoner kid goes through this Freeberg, that's his name, thank you. Freeberg goes over, sees all
Perfect
these fucking
name.
kids, all these kids in Undertaker position sat up, and he casually talks to these kids with like blood on their fucking eyes.
It's
Like,
one of the scariest scenes in the movie.
hey guys, I don't know where the hypnosil is. And then all of them in unison.
Pointing
It's
where
like,
it is.
there.
Yeah.
And then
That's scary. That's scary shit.
that was scary shit. Imagine waking up to that shit at 3 a.m. and you see that scene. It's like, what movie I'm seeing? And then you see CGI Worm Freddy, and it's like, oh shit, I'm watching a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So then this worm goes inside Freeberg's throat. I guess he possesses him now.
Right.
And he dumps all the hypnosil down. And while he's doing that, Jason pulls up on Linderman and Stubbs. So he gets electrocuted because he hit a power panel. And then Stubbs walks right into Jason. And Jason's like, come here, bitch. And he gets electrocuted too. And it's like, okay, because that works.
So wait, it's not clear. Was the little worm? Was that Freddy or the little caterpillar demon? Was it Freddy or was it a creature that Freddy made?
No, it was Freddy. Freddy possessed that worm. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Freddy as the worm. Yeah.
So wait, was Freeberg asleep?
I want to say he was awake.
See, that's what I'm.
And I
want to say he was half asleep because maybe he was so high. So Freddy could kind of fuck with him, kind of not. Maybe.
So maybe he fell asleep because he was high.
Yeah, maybe he passed out.
That's what you tend to do when you smoke weed.
True.
You know, after that, and after eating for a little while, like you kind of go in this comatose state of like peaceful bliss. You know? But
he probably fell asleep. He just dropped right on that floor. So yeah. So then, that happens, and then Jason pulls
that worm. You're just passing it. That worm is the dumbest fucking. That's the dumbest fucking part of this movie.
I'm so happy you said that, Asa, because I thought the same thing when I watched it. You know what's really funny? When I was watching
I wanted to know your reactions to that fucking word.
It was like 1 o'clock in the morning when that scene came on. And I was watching and I was like, what the fuck is this? So I rewound it and I rewatched it again. And I was like, Freddy's a fucking worm now? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what?
He's a worm.
who in the writing
Or a
room?
caterpillar. I think it's a caterpillar.
It doesn't matter.
Who wants to be at this stage? But like whoever was like when they were sitting down around in the round table reading the script, and the director goes, "Okay, Freddy, you're gonna turn into a worm now." No, Robert Englund didn't go, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not a fucking worm, mate.
Well,
I'm a
Robert's
goddamn
gonna make a lot of money.
demon." Like, let me transform into like a wait. Why don't I just transform into a gecko at this point? Like, what the fuck do you add? Wait, what is this nonsense? Like,
never mind that.
Totally said something at that reading.
Robert, here's what we're gonna do. CGI people, listen up. You're gonna transform into this worm. We're gonna use all our CG budget, aka none, to make this little worm, and then you're gonna pull out this fake ass bong, and you're gonna smoke it in this kid's face, and then you're gonna come back, and you, as the worm, are gonna go into this kid's throat, and you possess him now.
It reminded me.
And another aspect of this scene, the sequence we've not talked about at all, but there's also important for how stupid it is that the kid Freeberg is just a blatant copy of Jay, like of Jay and Silent Bob from the Clerks or Mallrats.
Yeah, spitting image.
Yeah. So the whole look, the actions, the voice, they just said, find Jay as a high school boy.
Yeah.
And that's who they put in the movie. Like, just to make it dumber. I just want to make that clear. This is like a 17-year-old version of Jay.
You know what's funny? Like, okay, like let's just have a quick side tangent for a second, gentlemen.
Gotcha.
It's related to movies, but like for me and Asa, we'll probably know this a little bit more than maybe you, Willie, because we're a little older and stuff. But when we watch movies, Asa, and like especially like early 2000s, 1990s movies and stuff like that, when they wanted to like add in a stoner or like a groupie or someone of a stigma that was around during that time period, it always was the same copy, cut, paste person, no matter who it was. Like you just said, the guy literally reminded you of Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. Like, it's so adamant. It's so carbon copied, simplistic, over exemplified, nothing new about the character, very dumbfounded, like nothing. And like nowadays, when they try to do something like that for like Willie's generation and stuff, movie wise, they seem to have a little bit more of an educational background compared to like how dumb they used to be. I feel like everyone back in the day watched High Times at Richmond High like on repeat, and Dude, Where's My Car on repeat, and was just like, those guys. This is the guy we need to have in those movies. And everybody at the table was like, oh, genius. This is the greatest writing we ever heard right now. But like now it's like, let's have a little bit of an education behind this stoner or this drug addict or somebody, you know, like it's so funny because like, you know, you watch this and then you watch something like, I don't know, like a different version of Halloween, like the older versions of Halloween, not the ones from like the 80s and 90s, but like something in like 2010 or whatever. And
it's those Halloween movies.
Like it's totally different.
I'll tell you a great example. We're talking about an updated version of the stoner character. Is Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, yes,
you know?
yes.
That's a great example of an update on the old stoner character.
It's so
that's
funny.
A contender for movie reviews.
If you ever have the time, I know we all do the podcasting and wrestling and shit like that, but if you ever have a time to do nothing all day and you don't have universe mode or whatnot, I want you to go back to like a few of the old like 80, 90 horror movies and just find those pothead people and then go watch one of the newer generational movies, like especially like start a Cabin at the Woods, and you'll just be like, the growth, the evolution.
Yeah, that's a movie that I need to watch.
Character has evolved immensely over the years. I just wanted to point that out. I'm sorry for the side tangent, but like,
No,
I
it's fine.
just
Yeah.
I feel like me and Asa could really relate on that and everything, because like I feel like we've seen a lot of, like besides horror movies, like I watch a lot of like thrillers and like psychological dramas and stuff like that, like Seven and stuff, and like those type of characters, when they pop up, they're like, dude, they're kind of like the Matt Riddles of those movies, and then seeing the MMA version of Matt Riddle, it's like, wait a second, how did you upgrade? What strand of weed did you start smoking where you're like, I have an intellect of 4.0? It's like, wait a second, buddy. Just like 2 weeks ago, you had a 2.0 average GPA. Now all of a sudden you bumped it up. You read a couple of Bram Stoker fucking books and, some Winston Churchill shit. And now all of a sudden you're a smart ass. Like, wait a second, buddy. Hold on a quick moment. So, I just wanted to point that out. Because, I didn't know if I was the only one. Because, when I watch these movies,
definitely.
Stuff, as a movie fan, for myself at least, as a fan, I watch the movie, I just enjoy the movie. But, if I do enjoy it so much where I rewatch it, I see those parts, those moments. And then when you watch other ones in that genre and you see that type of character evolve, even when you watch it for the first time, you have to be like, wow, they're finally giving the respect to these potheads that has been dying for so long. I'm so happy for them, man. Makes me want to go back to doing pot. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll have a 4.0 GPA if I go back to school or something. So, but I'm sorry. I wanted to side tangent for a quick second, but like I said, I felt like me and Asa probably would be able to relate on that a lot more, since, we are a little older or whatnot, but we've seen a lot of different movies of different eras and stuff, and it's definitely different. Even mob bosses. I don't know what other genres of movies you like, Asa, but I'm Italian, I'm Sicilian, and I watch a lot of mafia movies.
Oh, I love mafia
movies. And if you go back to an old black and white mafia movie, there'll be the scene where the girl will speak and you'll be like, hey, what's the matter with you? And smack her and shit like that. And it's like, oh, wait a second. And then you go to a Tony Sopranos, or you go to a fucking Godfather or some shit. And it's just you watch your fucking mouth. And that's it. That's as aggressive as they get with the women and shit like that. And then as you evolve, you go to the Irishman or something else. You're like, oh, now these women play important roles. Now they've evolved into these different characters than what it used to be. It's just it's very interesting to see the evolution of how movies portrayed.
Or even in The Sopranos, Tony goes over to Italy and there's a woman in charge.
Yeah, that was the craziest part to me too, because all right, so quick.
And he can't even process that.
Yeah, so all right, so quick side tangent. I'm sorry, Willie, if you ever watched The Sopranos, I highly recommend it. It is probably one of the greatest mafia TV shows you'll ever see in your lifetime. I'm not shitting you.
One of the greatest TV shows, period.
Yeah, if you want a good TV show, watch Sopranos.
Yeah.
Seriously, you'll not be disappointed. So there's a scene where Tony has to go to Italy to do business, right?
All right.
And he assumes, how it is in America, men take care of the business, especially in the mafia family tree. There's always a male that is in charge of the family, that's in charge of all the captains and lieutenants and underbosses and stuff like that. So he goes to Italy, and he's sitting at dinner, and he meets the supposable head of the family that he's talking to about selling cars or whatever. And later does he find out the next day that it's his daughter that's in charge of the whole fucking family organization. So when she's like, oh, no, you got to go through me, he starts laughing. He's like, what the fuck you mean? Where's your father? We're supposed to have this conversation. She goes, no. My father doesn't conduct business no more. It's me. I'm the one that's in charge now. And he's like, oh, wait, hold on a second. None of this shit would happen over here in America. In America, none of that shit actually goes down. This is the way it happens. And she's like, no. Over here, we do it a little differently. I now am in charge because my brothers are ridiculous. They're retarded. They don't know nothing. So now I'm in charge. And he works it out or whatever. But yeah, like throughout his whole time in Italy, he's sitting there processing like, wow, what a strong, independent woman that can be able to handle such serious business of a family and be a crime leader, a boss of some sort in this mafia organization that we have here. But yeah, he's like baffled by the idea that this woman is in charge, which is crazy because like at that time, they didn't have any power like that. They were the ones that stood home and took care of the kids and did all of the fundamental mothering. And to see this woman in this high-ranking family over in Italy as El Capitan, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? He thought he was in like a Bizarro land, fucking like in Superman. Like he was like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? And I gotta talk to her about Mercedes and about Lexuses and selling cars and shit like that. And he's just haggling with her and everything. He's like, oh, I'll give it to you for 60,000. How about 40,000? How about 52? Like, now he's trying to conduct business with her and shit. So sorry about the side tangent, but like, it's so funny. Like, Asa was 100% right. Like, it's so crazy, but like, that's the point. Like, it's crazy how like different time periods of movies portrayed the time period that was really happening at the time. And now as we've all evolved and gotten to now like your generation, Willie, and the generation now it's ahead of you and everything, it's so different to see movies. Like I just watched the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix.
And that was a lot of fun.
It was funny. It was really funny.
Yeah.
And there was a scene in the movie where Leatherface comes on the bus, and everybody pulls out their phone and starts recording them. They're like, "Oh my god, what a great costume! I wonder where he got the shirt from." And I'm like, "Wow, is this really the time frame that we're in right now?" And then he starts killing people, and she's like, "Oh my god, we really need to hit record. This is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy. Like, we need to post it on Twitter. We need to talk about it on Instagram." And I'm like,
well, Twitter.
Wait a second. Like, nobody's running out of there trying to grab a shotgun, like blow this motherfucker's top back. Like, you understand your friends are getting chopped in half in front of you like a delicatessen fucking roast beef sandwich right here. Like, you guys aren't realizing what's happening right now. Like, this is crazy. So like, yeah, man, no, it's so fucking nuts, but it's so true. It's so true. But again, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off like that. But
no, it's fine.
Like I said, I thought, and to for me and Asa, like I thought that'd be a nice little throwback right there, and everything in the sense of like where movies have come from, because it's very exciting. Don't get me wrong, but it's so interesting, So. But yeah,
who would have thought a little CG caterpillar could evoke such?
Yeah, who would have thought a CG caterpillar would evoke?
Hey man, you get on a tangent. That's it, man. I'm out here.
Okay, cabin in the woods, all that jazz. But anyways, Jason shows up to this fucking psych ward that he has no idea exists, and he's chasing these kids. And then Freddy, is just standing there. And Will's like, "Oh no, come on, buddy, we gotta go." And this guy's balls dropped twice. "Let me handle this bitch." And Will's standing there like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Jason pulls up, and
it's Brittany, bitch.
He just pulls up, and Freeberg has these two big tranks, two of the biggest tranks you'll ever see in your fucking life, and he tranquilizes Jason's neck. But not before Jason chops Freeberg right in fucking half. Freddy's still alive somehow, by the way. And, and then Jason falls asleep. And then we get into our first fight, which is back in that boiler room. And then Freddy becomes Jason's 60-year-old mom again. And I was like, "Hey, I told you to just kill a few of them." but you didn't say a few of them. I mean, okay. That was another thing. I was like, every time I hear her say, "Oh, you were supposed to come back home after just killing a few of them," it's like you didn't fucking say that though.
I don't know if this is a hot take for this movie,
I know.
but honestly, I'm gonna say 2 hot takes maybe.
Okay.
But this was my favorite fight scene when they were in the boiler room compared to the ending.
I like the ending a lot more.
And I think the fact that they ended where they ended, I won't spoil it because I know we're going to talk about it soon, was good, but it should have been the first.
What, you thought?
I thought maybe they should have fought. If I'm mistaken, they fought at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, at the second fight, yeah.
And I thought, since the way the movie was going, since they kind of pushed it as Jason being the number 1 guy and Freddy being the number 2, I figured they were going to push, Camp Crystal Lake first and end in the boiler room.
Nah, I knew it was going to be...
was nice.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be like
nice,
a dream.
But I enjoyed the boiler room more than I enjoyed Camp Crystal Lake. Now, mind you, I enjoyed the ending of the movie still, nonetheless. The ending of the movie was still very, very good. But I thought that there could have been a little bit more in the boiler room. And I thought that they should have went a little darker in the boiler room.
Yeah, the boiler room.
The boiler room seemed very fast-paced.
Yeah, it was very fast in your face.
And if they kind of... yeah, tell her to hop in.
Where's your charger? Sorry.
You're good. If they prolonged the boiler room scene a little longer and made it a little bit more graphic and scarier, because if you think about it, this is Freddy's playground. The boiler room is Freddy's home. He can pop out at any point of that boiler room, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what condition he's in. So, not utilizing that to its full advantage, I thought that was very foolish of the director. Because if I was a director and I saw the first few movies or all the other movies of Freddy and saw all of Jason, moments like that should have been overly stated to an extent than understated the way that they did. Because in Camp Crystal Lake, I feel like they hit it perfectly. They put Camp Crystal Lake as like the Mortal Kombat scene, where like this is where they're going to fight, this is where it's going to end, but it's going to be a big moment. And in the boiler room, it felt very fast-paced, it felt very unorganized, it felt very like Freddy wasn't able to use his abilities to the best advantage. He could have definitely been a lot more aggressive, a lot more darker. He could have played with Jason a lot more. He could have teased Jason a lot more. He could have scared Jason a lot more. And I think that's where they fucked up on in that boiler scene. Even though I like the fact that it's the boiler scene because I enjoy Freddy more than I enjoy Jason as a villain, as a character in the movie franchise, I thought when this was happening, these were the things that if I was a director, would have hit upon. Because he hit Jason perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That ending of the movie made us feel like it was a Jason movie. But he rushed Freddy's scene. And I think that was really a dumb idea. Asa, do you think what I said was accurate? Or do you think that maybe I'm a little off kilter?
No, I think you're a little off. I think the way they did it is definitely...
You don't think they underplayed Freddy in that boiler scene and maybe not of.
Oh no! They definitely underplayed Freddy. Yeah, I mean, it could have been. It should have been one. It should have been the middle of the movie. Two, it should have been a hell of a lot scarier.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Right.
what I thought it lacked.
Yeah, I totally agree. It should have been darker and scary. No, you're 100% right about that. But the ending of the movie should have been how the ending of the movie was.
Right.
Where it was.
Right.
I think that they got right, but you're right about the boiler room scene. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
You're right about that.
Like,
yeah.
Because, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, you know, and Asa and you too, Willie, like, when we watch the Freddy movies and that boiler scene happened with his victims, he was everywhere. She ran.
Yeah.
He was there.
He was always there.
She ran another way. He's right there. He's with the claws. Then he's 1, 2, 3, 4 claws scratching across the thing. He's singing the song. He's telling her how much he loves her, how he can't wait to grab her, how he can't wait to hold her, and, you know, all of this. And it's like, I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted that. And it, like, they hinted at it at moments, but it didn't execute it the way I thought they were going to execute it.
Yeah.
And maybe the director was more of a fan of Jason than he was of Freddy.
Maybe.
You know, it's my thought. Maybe that, you know, and that's what I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. Because, like, I'm more of a Freddy villain. I enjoy Freddy as a horror villain character compared to Jason. I think Jason's cool. I think Jason's story's awesome. And I like Camp Crystal Lake. But at the same time, it's a little bit basic at moments. And I feel like certain movies kind of showed that basic nature of who Jason is. But when you get him with Freddy, Freddy plays both cards. Because Freddy can get you in your dreams. And then if you bring him out of the dreams into reality, he's there. And that's what makes Freddy, in my opinion, a little bit more of a versatile villain. Because if you bring him out of that dream, now he's really real. And the abilities that he had in your dream now become a reality. And now you're fucked. Kind of like if we remember the first movie, how, like, when Johnny Depp, which is so funny to see how young Johnny Depp was when he was in the first fucking film. But, like, when Johnny Depp was having that dream, and then, you know, Freddy was like, I'm gonna get you. And then he was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And, you know, everything happened. And then all of a sudden, he just got sucked into the bed. I was like, okay, that's smart. Because you're bringing him back to your playground. You're bringing him back to your world. You're bringing him back to where he was supposed to be. So, to me, I feel like that boiler scene was a little bit underplayed because there could have been a lot more they definitely could have done with it and even dragged it out to maybe a little more of the middle of the movie, amping up to the end. Because the end is 100%, there is no argument, a great payoff.
Yeah, it's a good payoff at the end.
But, yeah, it's one of my biggest, if not only biggest gripe of the whole movie. And it's just because I'm a big Freddy guy. So it's a little more biased. But to me, like I was telling Willie, like if I was making that movie and I rewatched the Freddy movies, I'm like, okay, when we bring Jason to the boiler room, we're going to have a really, really, really fun time. And this is going to be 15 to 18 minutes of fun. Mm-hmm. And then when we give it to Jason, he's going to have the big payoff that everybody wants him to be. Because like to Ace's point, Jason is really the baby face. And Freddy really is the heel. And I think that was kind of quickly established in the beginning of the movie. And kind of just reminded us throughout it all. But that's all I'm going to say. I know I've been talking for a little bit. So I'm going to let you guys have the floor now.
Yeah, no, I would say for the boiler room, it was more goofy. Like that fight was like literally Freddy has the force times 1,000, where he's throwing shit at him. I like the part at the beginning where Jason chopped off both of Freddy's arms and Freddy's like playing into it. He's like, not my arm, and then he just brings them back up.
Yeah,
And then like
gotcha.
and then like Asa said, Rey Mysterio literally getting fucking pinballed across the whole fucking wall.
You know what's so funny? I rewatched it because Asa said that about Rey Mysterio, and I'm like, I still didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it either because the dude looked so tall. When I rewatched it, I was like, I can't see Rey Mysterio anywhere.
I still couldn't catch it. And I thought about that the moment that scene happened, because after the scene happened, I was like, wait, Asa said something about this scene. Let me rewatch it again. So I rewatched it again, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Like, what the hell is the guy saying that I'm not saying?
Well, apparently, yeah, Rey Mysterio was the stuntman in that scene. But
I know.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he's in the credits.
It's movie magic. Yeah, that's Rey Mysterio.
Which is so good. I'm so happy for him. Good for Rey. You know, I know we're not a wrestling podcast today, but good for Rey. You know, like I'm happy for Rey, but still, like, yeah, yeah, Willie, exactly.
Here's the other stupid part about this fight. Around the end, where Jason's about to fucking start fighting again, and then he stops because there's this river of water around him. And it's like, oh, so you're afraid
let's
of
talk about the water.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's like,
let's do it.
Okay, sure. I'll be the first to talk about it real quick. But, okay, sure, he drowned, right? But there's so many points in Friday the 13th where he's attacking people in water. He's just chilling in water, you know? And it's like he swam in water. He fucking clinged onto a boat heading to fucking Manhattan. This dude ain't scared of water.
Right.
This dude wouldn't see a little fountain of water, lift up a machete and be like, oh shit, no, you're gonna stop it. Doesn't even go around it. He's just like, no, I can't do nothing now. So dumb. Anyway,
Asa.
Yeah. They somehow overthought it and underthought it at the same time. I mean, yeah, exactly like you're saying, he's not afraid of water. I mean, he drowned, sure, but
did he though?
You know, in life he drowned. In death, he has taken the water as his refuge. You know, that's his place.
That's a really good point you said, Asa.
Yeah, he doesn't. He no longer fears water. He's a fucking water ghost. You know. The whole thing. He's a fucking water ghost. He lives in the goddamn lake, you know?
Yeah.
He's so afraid of water that he falls into a river in the end of the movie. Yeah. He's so afraid.
Yeah, I mean he lives in the lake. He'll go down there forever. He'll drag people under the lake and drown them.
Yeah.
And as you said, he'll latch onto a boat and ride it the whole way to fucking Manhattan from Crystal Lake, which I guess is from New Jersey to New York, not that far, but nonetheless, far way to ride on the underside of a boat or wherever he rode on it.
Yeah.
But he's not afraid of water. He travels a lot underwater. He stays underwater for large portions of the movie. That's his domain, is the water. So whoever came up with that, fuck them.
Yeah, no,
obviously not a fan of the franchise because it's real dumb.
Let me ask you guys a question.
He shouldn't be walking. He should be running.
Do you think the water was the foresight of what was going to happen at the end?
No, I didn't see it as a foreshadow. I saw it as in like
foreshadowing. Thank you. Like, do you think when watching it and going, why the fuck is this water here? He's not afraid of water. He died in water, but he used it as a salvage and resurrected in the water and now uses it to his advantage. Why is there water here?
Yeah.
Is it because of what was going to happen? That's kind of how it ended anyway. But
could, I mean,
there's an
maybe
argument there, I feel.
I don't think he overcomes his fear of water at the end. Like,
maybe in their mind, that's the only way it would make sense is in the writer's mind. But nonetheless, like as a fan of the series, like I don't think a fan of the series wrote it
Enjoy
because
that.
I don't think you would make Jason afraid of the water if you're a fan of
No.
the series, you know?
No,
No.
you can't tear down 4 movies prior to this one where he
It's
uses
not more. It's like
water.
8.
It's okay, so
Yeah.
8, so
9.
7 movies compared to this one.
10, the space one.
Oh yeah, I fucking forgot he went to space too. Isn't
Oh
that
yeah.
crazy?
Oh yeah, I don't count that one. 10. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that one. 10
So
movies.
I guess like 9.5 movies. Like you can't eliminate 9.5 movies where he uses water in like 4 to 5, if not 6 of those fucking movies.
Yeah.
To take out his opponents.
Well, wait, one of them he's not in, so 9 movies.
It is 9.
No, I was saying number 5, he's not in. It's a fake Jason.
Oh yeah.
So 9
number
movies.
5.
Wait. Hold on.
Number 5. It's a copycat. Number 5. It was
Yeah.
a copycat.
So wait. So you're telling me that
It's like Halloween Ends. Yeah. It
is a fake Jason?
Number
It's a
5
fake
is a fake Jason.
Where's the real Jason?
He's dead.
He was dead in that one.
He was buried. Yeah,
So this
He
guy
was-
was just a serial killer.
Yeah.
correct.
He was like a copycat. It's like Spiral.
He disguised himself. He disguised himself as Jason.
Listen, I know I've been drinking some Steve Wires this evening as we do this review, but that's
You
some wild
know
fucking
that.
shit that I don't think anything is fucking possible.
Yeah, you need to go back and watch Friday the 13th 5. It's a good one. It's known as one of the worst of the series. I love it though.
I like the kills in that one. I hated the plot, but
Yeah, the kills are
yeah.
good.
God,
I
we're
don't
gonna have
know.
to do a whole fucking series review.
Fucking-
Jason and Freddy movies.
fucking water, man. I just don't understand that they fucking.
Yeah,
made
that's
him
dumb.
so afraid
That's
of water.
dumb.
And he turns into a kid. My man turns into a fucking kid.
They
And
did that in part 8,
No, wait a
and it was
second.
dumb in part 8.
Someone refresh my memory because I have had a few. I've had a few this evening while we've been doing this. Now I know that Jason technically is a deformed, mentally challenged child. If we remember the first one, he was a mentally challenged, disfigured boy who was unsupervised and went into the water and drowned, and lifeguards didn't save him, all this other stuff, and the mom was there, this, that, and the third. When he turns back into a child in this, was it the same
No, it's
as
just
what
Freddy
he was
fucking with him.
established as, or was it a normal child?
No, it's Jason, but it's Freddy fucking with him. He turned him into a child.
But was it the deformed child of Jason?
Yeah.
No, it's Jason. It's Jason as a kid.
I understand that. I'm asking you though, was it Jason from the first movie when we see him as a deformed child going into the lake?
Technically,
It is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
what are you drinking, by the way, Asa? I see you opening.
Dr. Pepper and cream soda, 0 sugar.
God bless your soul. You're not fucking up your liver like I am right now.
No, I don't drink.
You don't drink?
I don't drink.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, so Freddy starts fucking with him, brings up his 60-year-old mother's chopped head. That's a face only a mother could love. Which I think is a very, very good use of
I remember that, and I laughed at that. And I didn't want to laugh at that, but that was really funny.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
That would not be in a movie nowadays.
Oh, no.
No, that'd get canceled so fucking
there'd
quick.
be people outside the whole entire studio with signs. There'd be commercials about it. There'd be
Boycott Freddy
CNN, Fox. Everybody would be talking about it. TMZ.
Well, CNN wouldn't give a fuck. Fox would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." But
yeah, it would cause a lot of anarchy within the streets. But let's get back onto the TV.
The woman who plays Freddy as Jason's mom is Paula Shaw. Just to give a shout out to her, because it's not Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer's dead.
Yeah,
so
she passed away. She passed away. Third movie or fourth?
I don't know.
I feel like it was the fourth.
Are you talking about the Betsy Palmer, the actress,
The
or
actress, yeah, because she
Oh, I don't
died.
know, because
She
she died in the
died.
first one, clearly. Yeah.
No. Like in real life, I'm saying, like
Oh, I don't fucking know.
I think she died when the fourth was being made, or made and was out in theaters. I don't know either.
No. She was alive into the 90s. I'm sure of that.
Oh wow, so
Hold
she
up.
probably.
Yeah,
So
I'm
she
sure of
probably.
that she was alive
Oh, she
like
died
in the late
2015.
90s. Yeah, I'm sure
She
of
died
that.
2015. She was alive.
Oh, she was alive when this came out.
Yeah.
She just
She
didn't
died.
do it. They just
Yeah,
didn't get her. Okay.
she died
All
in
right.
2015. Probably
Okay.
because she
Wait,
was
she
too
died in
old.
2015, and they didn't give her the
Yeah.
fucking role of her lifetime that she's already put 8 to 9 movies in.
Nope.
What the fuck?
She died 2015.
Huh.
You know there's some other director directing this shit. If you're not adding in the real fucking people. I'm
No,
sorry.
Yeah.
who played
They
Jason
asked
Bourne
Robert
again?
Englund to do Freddy. They could have got like
I
Jonathan
wonder.
Thornbush or some shit to do fucking Freddy. You
I
know?
wonder if they asked Betsy Palmer. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
wonder.
they didn't even get Kane Hodder to do
Well, that's
Jason in this one.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they should have. They should have. That's another thing is they should have gotten Kane Hodder to be Jason.
I'm sorry for the side tangent, but that reminds me of this thing. This is very off topic. This is gaming thing. I don't know if you guys are Skyrim people. I know
No.
your wife Asa is a fan of Skyrim.
Mhm.
There's this lady named Skyrim Grandma. She's a very famous either person or whatever, but she was supposedly in the Skyrim video game, and she's well known as the Skyrim Grandma. She's on Twitter. She's like, she's a very famous woman in this for just this specific game. So when Starfield was coming out by the Bethesda who made Skyrim, everyone assumed that they were going to have the Skyrim grandmother because with Bethesda games, they like to have other of their games in games that are coming out. So there's always little like Easter eggs of other games that they made in other games that they make, which is genius. I think that's really cool. So a lot of people thought that she was going to be in the Starfield video game. And she said, I was never asked, never got an email for it, nothing. She goes, maybe there'll be like a hint of me, but like there's nothing that I was asked about for this. So that also reminds me for Betty Shaw. Was she even approached? Was she even asked? Was she even considered or thought about? Because like she was in what? The first 6?
No, she was in number 1, and then she was in as a flashback in what 2?
2. Because
And
she flashback in 2. She was a flashback, I think, in 3 for one moment. She wasn't in space. She wasn't in the space one. I know that.
Yeah, because in
I
2005,
know she wasn't in the 5th one.
in 2005 she was 79, so in this she'd be 77, so she'd be way too old to be Jason's
Yeah, but
mom.
it would have made sense though.
She'd be way too fucking old.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think
she could have been fine. All she's got to do is talk.
When was the first Jason
hold on.
movie made?
I got something. Hold on. Palmer
78.
was asked to reprise her role as Mrs. Voorhees in Freddy vs. Jason in 2003 and agreed to return, but she ultimately turned down the role after being offered a surprisingly low salary.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. They did the same thing to Kane Hodder, and that's what people got upset about. You could have had the real mother. You could have had the quote unquote real Jason, what a lot of people consider to be the best and was the best Jason.
Yeah.
And they fucking lowballed the shit. And even though they knew the movie was going to make money, I mean, the movie made over $100 million. It could have been a better movie just having those two people in it. And they tried to lowball the shit.
That's also kind of like the Halloween movies, because I feel like I could be wrong with this too, but the first one, it was the same. It was the one actor. Second one was the same actor. Third one was the same actor. It was either the 5th or the 6th one where they got a different actor because they lowballed the guy.
Different actor for Michael?
Yeah.
And Halloween, no, it's a bunch of different guys.
It was,
Yeah,
so it was always a bunch of different men.
It was
Bunch of
always
different
guys. Always different guys.
I always assumed that it was the first 3 or 4 movies was the same guy, and then like when the 5th, 6th, 7th, and all the other ones, because I knew like the later ones and the new ones and the Rob Zombie ones were new guys. But
the
like,
only ones where they
like
had
the 5th on was new guys.
the only ones where
Wow,
they had
I
the
didn't even
same
know that.
guy.
That surprised me.
The only ones that they had the same guy was the new ones, and I think the Rob Zombie ones, like the 2 ones, they had the same guy.
Willie, you're so young. I don't know how you know all this shit. You know,
He's a
I
horror
followed
movie
crazy.
fan. He's a
I
horror
followed-
movie fan.
It's crazy, man.
Horror movie fans, they know their shit.
I know, but about wrestling stuff too. You know.
Yeah, man.
He always knows everything.
I love slasher movies. Don't ask
Yeah,
me
me
about
too.
Insidious. Don't ask me about no fucking Poltergeist. Don't ask me about any of that shit. I've seen Poltergeist, but I forget everything.
Did I ever tell you? Go ahead. Finish your statement. I'm
just saying I love slasher movies. That's the only thing. So it's like I'll know that everyone, Michael Myers is different. I could probably name every Scream killer, but don't ask me. And all that shit.
That's crazy. If you can fucking name every Scream killer, that would impress the shit out of me because I've only seen the first Scream and I never watched it ever since.
Billy,
I tell you what,
Mickey, Mrs. Loomis, Roman, who was the only one in Scream 3, Charlie, Jill, Richie, Amber, and then there was 3, Ethan, Wayne, and Quinn. There.
Wow. That's impressive.
Every single Scream killer.
I just saw 6. 6 was pretty good.
6 was pretty good.
It wasn't scary, but it wasn't scary, but it was good.
It was good. Visually it was stunning. The plot was the only grope I have about Scream 6, and maybe we'll do a review of this some other day.
Yeah, please.
Everyone got stabbed and everyone survived. That's what pissed me off about the whole movie.
Yeah, too many people survived that movie. I agree with that.
Jenna Ortega, Kirby, fucking the one guy, what's his name? Chad. There was another guy too. I forget, but yeah, no, a lot of people survived that. But anyways,
did I tell you about the Deliver Us from Evil movie?
No.
Okay, so there used to be. I'm so sorry for the side tangent. I know this is a Freddy.
No, it's fine because we've been on this one
movie, but it has something to do with horror movies, so I figured it'd be worth the topic. But this is a very fun, interesting fact. So I didn't know this until very later on, like a few years ago is when I found this out. So there was a movie called Deliver Us from Evil with Eric Bana, who played the very first Hulk on a live-action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Next to the guy who was in King of Queens. He was the next-door neighbor of Kevin James. Asa, help me out. I feel like you would know the show. No? Oh, my God. Lou Ferrigno. Okay, so after Lou Ferrigno, they decided to make movies, and the first one was called Hulk, and it had Eric Bana. I never met this man in my life. I never saw any of his other films or whatever. So he made Hulk, which is my personal favorite movie out of all the Hulks that have been made. Anyway.
Wait, was Patton Oswalt? You know, I'm talking about Patton Oswalt. He wasn't in that show.
No, Eric Bana was the Hulk.
No. But I mean, the other guy you were asking about. You're not talking about Patton Oswalt.
No, well, Patton Oswalt was in King of Queens. Okay. As like a stupid friend or what, the nerdy friend of the show. But anyway, that's something we could also do is like review like TV shows and shit like that, which maybe we could. But anyway, nonetheless, Eric Bana made a movie called Deliver Us from Evil. And I have it on DVD. It's literally downstairs. And it's about an NYPD cop who gets this case that's a little weirder than the rest of them, like murderers and rapists and killers and other shit. And it starts like haunting them and there's a lot of like weird paranormal shit that happens and stuff like that. And as the movie goes on, they kind of figure out what happens or whatever. But after the fact, a lot of the paranormal shit is still brought to his house. Like his kid's doll. She had like a bunny or whatever. And one day she asked her dad, like, oh, what did you do with it? And it'd be gone. But then it'd be like in the closet. or it'd be in like a weird spot, and it followed him. This case like kind of stuck to him. So as a detective that he became in NYPD, he quit his job, he resigned, and he became a paranormal hunter. And he has a TV show, I think on ID or on one of the paranormal like channels on like Optimum or whatever. And the guy who does the TV show, the movie, is based off of. So the guy that's in the TV show was on the set with Eric Bana talking about all the shit that would happen throughout the case to give the director and writers insight of what the fuck the case was really like, to make it a lot more realistic, which I think is so fucking crazy. It's kind of like with Insidious. Like Elaine and the Warrens were on set
Conjuring.
for The Conjuring.
Conjuring.
And,
Conjuring,
and a little bit of Insidious as well. And Annabelle. Lorraine was on set a lot more because her husband died, I think, like after Conjuring 2 or during the making of Conjuring 2 or something. He passed away. Or maybe Conjuring 1, maybe he passed away.
I didn't even know he died.
Yeah, she remained on set for The Conjurings.
Yeah.
And she remained on set for Insidious. And she remained on set for, I think, the first Annabelle. Or she just gave insight for the Annabelle movie. Maybe she got sick. She was like 80
because the Conjuring's supposed to be about the Warrens, so she was probably like, no, this was what really happened, so that way it's more realistic.
And she was on set. They were on set and giving the writers and directors and CGI and like what really happened, what really was seen, what really happened in these moments and shit like that, which to me makes the movie even scarier, because now it's like, fuck, if like that really happened to a family in like the 80s, no. I would have gave the fucking ghost the house, left them the bills, you know what I mean? Like I would have just been like, the shit's yours, G. I'm out. All right, I'm out of here. We're done here. I'm gone. But like a lot of it, like, you know, supposedly, you know, I don't. I'll say this now, and hopefully I don't get haunted or whatnot. I've been saying it for years, but hopefully I never fucking get haunted. I don't, you know, like I believe that there's that extra thing that circulates, like when you pass or whatnot. I don't mean to get crazy morbid, but like when you pass on, you know, like your soul doesn't really leave just yet. You kind of gotta say your grievances and set your apologies, or just kind of like make peace with everybody before you decide to enter the next realm of your existence as you know, a spiritual successor or whatnot. And you know, like when somebody dies, if like their soul was evil, they linger more on earth than someone that was at peace with themselves when they passed away.
Because Earth sucks and that's their punishment.
Kind of, sorta. Kind of, sorta, yeah. Because like I'll say this: like when my father passed away in 2019, it was very sudden. And when he passed away, my mom was working for somebody, and she said that, you know, the woman, like my mom and a lot of people that I know are very spiritual and believe, like, you know, they do the sage and they do all this, you know, crazy shit. And I'm like, listen, you're gonna bring something into this house one day. They're gonna start fucking with the lights. They're gonna start fucking with us. I'm like, I'm out. Like, I want to let you people know now. The moment that shit happens, I'm out of here. It's all for you. Enjoy it. I hope you enjoy this shit, because I don't want none of that shit. So when my father passed, my mom's person that she was working for was saying that she felt this like tornado of shit happen in her house. And she was just like, she didn't understand like what was going on. And my mom, I guess, was texting her like, listen, I'm going to need some time off because, you know, my husband just was in the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like, I felt him. So of course, when my mom was telling me this, I was like, all right, come on, please. Like, I don't want to hear none of this shit. Like, it's 5:30 in the morning. We've been dealing with this shit for 12 hours. Like give me a break here. And she was just like, no, like, you know, like I felt like he was like a tornado because like he was scared. He didn't understand like this is what happened. Like this was what was not supposed to happen, but happened anyway. And it was kind of like a left turn into the whole entire thing itself. So, you know, that she was just like, yeah, like it was like a tornado effect. And like the whole house felt tense and like crazy. And there was like a lot of shit that just felt very uneased. And when she was like, oh, like, don't worry, everybody's fine, then, you know, that tension kind of relieved itself and then passed on. Take it what you want. Again, I'm like 50-50 on the whole thing. You know, like, I believe in God and shit like that, but, like, that whole paranormal aspect, I'm like, I like it in movies. I don't know if I believe it outside of the movies. So, like, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, like, you know, some of that shit could be real. And, like, you know, if, like, the Warren saw it in, like, the 80s and 70s and 90s and shit like that with dolls or the conduits and stuff like that, it's like, fuck. Like, maybe this shit could be a lot more realer than you actually think it is. And it's just like, you know, it's that possibility of it is so crazy to me. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you know, and again, like I said, and I stand by this to this day, the moment some wild shit starts happening in this house, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. Okay? I'm making my peace. I said good luck to all of y'all and whoever's in this house. Enjoy the mortgage. Enjoy the bills. Enjoy the gas payments. Enjoy these people here because guess what? Your boy's out. We're living in a car. Like, that's it. We out of this bitch. Like, I'm not at all playing no games with no fucking demons. I ain't playing no games with ghosts. I ain't playing with nobody. All right? Like, I like it on my TV shows, on my video games, on my movies, and that's as far as we're going to keep it because I don't want none of that other shit coming out here. But like I said, I'm sorry for the side tangent, but, you know, like I said, it's just very funny because, like, you know, like, the movie was based off the guy, you know, going back to what the original topic was, which was, you know, Eric Bana or whatever, but, you know, it's very crazy. Like, this shit could be a lot more realer than people make it out to be and shit like that. So, yeah, you know, you never know. You know, with life, you never know. So, but let's get back to the movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I probably threw everybody for a fucking loop there right now, but I've been drinking some Steve Weiser, so don't mind me. Don't even listen to me. I'm probably just fucking a little too much right now. So,
all right, well, while Freddy's fucking with Jason, the kids put Jason in the back of their van, being like, yeah, no, we're going to take him to Camp Crystal Lake, and then we're going to pull Freddy out, and then they're going to fight. And then they have this genius idea that they're going to trank Lori, and she's going to pull Jason out of the dreams because they need him alive. And it's like, you're going to put this fucking mass serial killer that killed all of your friends in the back of your van because you need him to kill some dream guy. If someone gave me that idea, hey, we're going to put this serial killer that killed all of our friends in the back of our van, I'd be like, not with me in the van, you're not.
No, thank you.
Fuck this shit, I'm
no,
out.
thank you, sir.
So Lori goes to bed, and she goes to Camp Crystal Lake back in 1980. Kids are making fun of Jason, putting bags on his head and all that shit. And then they literally throw him in the water. It's not like, hey, he just casually went in the water. It was, nah, these kids fucking in an army threw this kid into the fucking water, and all the camp counselors isn't doing anything. And one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie, these two camp counselors are screwing each other, and Lori just casually walks up to them, being like, aren't you going to help the kid? And then Freddy just fucking turns around, and it's not my fault this bitch is dead on her feet, and then just fucking grabs the corpse and starts waving with the fucking thing.
What really sells it, though, is Freddy's laughing after it, you know?
Yeah.
Because Freddy's just, like, super laughing at his own joke.
Yeah.
He's like, you know? Freddy has such a good time, you know? That's why I like Freddy.
Yeah, I love Freddy, man.
He has a good time.
Robert Englund, he might not have gotten paid a lot, but you could tell he was having fun with that role.
Oh yeah.
He probably loved being Freddy Krueger. Like,
yeah.
he genuinely loved being Freddy Krueger.
I would love to see him
again.
Yeah.
I would love to see it just one more time. Just one more.
I know. Well, you know, it's funny. They're making an adaptation,
They're
a TV
thinking
show
of
of
it.
some sort, I think. And they approached Robert to do the thing, but he's so old and he's like, nah, I'm a little more tired. Like, I don't know if I can really do all of that now with everything that I've done. Like,
They're making a what? What'd you say?
I think they're making a TV show of Friday
Really?
the 13th. Not Friday the 13th. Freddy vs. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, I heard they're doing the Jason one too.
Yeah, and they're making a Jason one too.
Okay.
Which
Cool.
is great. I didn't even know that either. That's actually really cool.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And
If they're as good as the Chucky show, that'd be cool.
Oh, the Chucky show is great.
Funny. Like, I haven't watched the Chucky show.
Oh, the Chucky show is so fun.
Child's Play. I'm gonna be very honest. Yeah, I have never, ever, ever, ever seen a Child's Play. I've seen every Texas Chainsaw movie. I've seen the first Saw, the third Saw. I've seen all the Freddys. Okay. I've seen a good portion of the Jason movies. I've seen one Hellraiser movie.
I've never seen any Hellraiser.
I've seen.
Yeah, you can kind of skip the Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but I see. Okay, you know what's really funny? Me and my mom were just having this conversation because she was watching The Shining last night, and I have something very interesting to say about The Shining for a quick second. I'm sorry, another side tangent, but it's the horror movies, but it's actually a really cool side tangent. Anyway, she was watching The Shining, and we were talking about. She was like, you know what movie really fucked me up as a kid? She always used to say The Exorcist, the original Exorcist.
Oh yeah,
Blair, that scene where she's crawling down the fucking stairs and shit. She was like, I was like 8, 7 years old, and I saw that shit, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. She goes, but the movie that really fucked me up was the original Hills Have Eyes, and I watched the original Hills Have Eyes, and that movie is really fucked up.
Yeah, that's terrific.
That movie is really fucked up. Willie, you definitely need to see that movie. Like, the new adaptations of it, cool, great, whatever. But the original one is fucking wild. But did you know, this is a little fun fact, did you guys know that in the Shining movie, Jack Nicholson looks at you very briefly throughout the whole film? And in certain scenes, you might be able to catch it. And what that actually portrays is that Jack Nicholson's character has been talking to you this whole entire time.
No.
And that the kid and his wife never existed.
No.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
No, dude.
I refuse.
I follow this guy on TikTok. And
I don't buy it.
I have to send you the video. I have to send you the video. I'm going to find the video, and I'm going to send you the video.
I swear if they hold on. I swear if they talk like this. By the way, did you guys know?
No. They're regular talking people. Regular talking
the whole time.
No. So
I'm not gonna buy it.
So how he describes it is that Jack Nicholson glances at you throughout the whole movie.
No.
So, like, you remember the interview when he's going for the hotel job? He's looking at the guy, right? He's talking. But then he looks at the camera.
Yeah.
He goes back to the guy doing the interview.
Yeah, it's called a POV shot.
I understand that. Those glances to you are supposed to show you that that's who he's talking to
interviewer
this whole time.
Does that mean that Hannibal Lecter's been talking to me the whole time?
No. That's just because Anthony Hopkins is an amazing fucking actor, and he just wants to break that fourth wall because he just wants to break that fucking fourth wall. No, Jack Nicholson is talking to you, which I thought was so fucking interesting because, like, it makes now that movie so much more crazier to think that throughout the whole entire time that he's in this hotel, he's just in this hotel by himself trying to write this script, but he's having a mental breakdown by himself, but talking to you throughout this whole fucking film.
No.
Which,
yeah.
I think that's fucking insane. Like, I think that's so fucking crazy.
I don't buy it.
I know
I
you
don't
don't.
buy it either. Yeah,
I know you don't buy it.
I'll watch it. I'll look, but I don't buy it.
We watched
Yeah,
the
I'll
movie.
look and see what you're talking about, but it's like,
And I'm going to tell you right now, they are very, very quick glances. But he does it throughout the whole film.
All right.
You really have to be watching. I actually caught it twice while we were watching it last night.
Oh.
I was
So
like,
wait,
holy shit, he just looked at me. Holy shit, he just looked at me again.
But
So
Okay.
wait, I'm missing the connection. Why would it be he looks at you?
Hold on. Let me try to explain it a little bit better. So, as Jack Nicholson is talking to the camera, that's supposed to be a human being, right?
But he's talking to people.
He's
the whole point
talking
of the
to
movie.
people.
Is Walter
That's
White
made up
talking to
in
me in
his
Breaking
mind.
Bad?
He's talking to people that are made up in his mind.
No.
So
That's
those
a
quick
shitty
glances
theory.
to the camera.
So he's imagining his
He's
kid
talking
getting
to you.
tormented by twins and shit? And he's imagining his kid.
He's reminiscing on his children.
That's no. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
reminiscing on his
Dude,
children
it's so
being
fucking
traumatized.
twisted. It's so fucking twisted. I gotta find you the fucking video with the glancing, because you guys aren't gonna you still aren't gonna fucking believe me.
I'm not going to.
But
No.
if you rewatch the movie and you catch the glances, I hope Asa does rewatch the movie, because I can't wait for the text message to be like, holy shit, he just looked at me. I don't know how to feel about this movie anymore.
Here's a funny thing that is true about The Shining. Talking about the scene where he's interviewing for the job, they've shot the scene so that the interviewer, there are different points of view,
right,
that keep portraying the interviewer as having a giant erection throughout the whole scene.
That's hilarious.
What?
So there's that.
No.
Yeah, because the interviewer is, he's serving these dark forces.
Right.
So he's drawing Jack in to this place. So in this interview for the job, he's drawing him in. So he's got this huge erection because of this fact that he's bringing him into this fold. So they keep having items in the camera and in view of the camera that are coming like right out of his midsection,
right,
there to show this giant erection.
That's great. That's so great. I can't wait to rewatch The Shining. I can't wait to rewatch.
There's a lot of weird stuff in that movie. I've never heard that though.
Did you know about? I just want to say this last quick point about The Shining. Because I follow a lot of like movie backstories and like behind the scenes and shit on TikTok. And do you know that when Jack Nicholson would prepare for a horror scene from that movie, he would look like into a mirror and say he was going to kill himself. I'm going to kill you. 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 To get into that character, and he'd like jump around and start screaming and like try to like really get into that character. And then when he would perform the scene, he used to say like he just would forget that he was in there, so that everything that came out of him was authentic. Yeah, dude, like it's so crazy to hear like how these actors and actresses would get into those scenes. Like even the lady that was on the other side, she was like, yeah, like when he would chop into the door, she was like at certain points that he got really close to my face. And like it made my screams a lot more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And it became this like outer body experience of like, holy fuck, he's really gonna kill me. He's really going to kill me. And yeah. Or a lot of the scenes are even improvised. Like there's movies where like certain scenes have become famous lines and shit. Like I think it was I could be wrong on this one, but I think the line from Silence of the Lambs where Hannibal Lecter goes, what's the famous line where he's in the jail and he's like,
I ate his liver with fava beans.
fava beans and
a
drank it
nice
with a bottle of Chianti.
Chianti.
That was improvised.
Huh.
That noise was improvised by Anthony Hopkins.
To
The
scare
line was just,
Judy
I
Foster.
ate his liver with fava beans and drank it with Chianti. That was it. He added the thing just to make it more like, oh, the guy's out of his fucking mind. Like, that whole, like, and even Jodie Foster was like, I don't know what he just did there, but okay. He's out of his fucking mind. Like, I'm happy he's behind this fucking glass because you know what? I don't want to know Anthony Hopkins anymore. Type of shit. So, okay. But yeah, like it's crazy. Like some of these actors and actresses and shit like that. Like I know we need to get back to this fucking movie, but There Will Be Blood, when Daniel Day-Lewis is at the church and he's like, I abandoned my boy. That was all improvised. He wasn't supposed to scream it. It was supposed to be like a somber moment. And he was like, I need to elevate it for people to realize that, like, I have committed the worst thing imaginable. I abandoned my boy. Like, that needed to be improvised. Even with, like, the movie The Batman Dark Knight, a lot of that shit was improvised. A lot of the fucking shit the Joker did, Heath Ledger did, was improvised. It wasn't even on script. Certain scenes, certain movements, the ways he would talk, the way that he like flicked his hair and shit like that. He went over to Jake Gyllenhaal's sister and everything, and would talk to her and shit. Like, it's all improvised. And I think like that's what's so funny. Like when we watch these movies, and we're like, whoa, like that shit's wild. It's like, was that real or was that improvised? And when you find out it was improvised, it was like that movie now just escalates like so much higher on ratings and shit at times. It's so crazy. But I'm sorry. I know I'm side tangenting a lot this evening. I'm really, really sorry. But listen, man, movies are my thing. I love movies. So like, honestly, Willie, you were a genius for fucking thinking of this shit. So like, you're really gonna get a different side of Dylan than you've ever gotten besides wrestling. So like,
I could tell.
If you think I'm gonna do wrestling, oh no. You have no idea what kind of fucking can of worms you just fucking opened right now with me and fucking movies and shit. So hopefully I'm not scaring Asa. Hopefully he still wants to do podcasts with me and shit like that. But nonetheless, like, yeah, man, like I'm a.
We're almost done this movie. Yeah. But
I love movies. Love them.
Yeah, well, I mean, with this, it's almost like, hey, there's a limitless amount of movies to review and all that shit.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like, yeah. So that's crazy. But anyways, back to the movie.
Back to the review.
Where were we?
Kid gets bullied. Kid gets bullied. Gets pushed into water. Lori just runs right over and is like, "Give me your hand." And then the look of the ugly Jason Voorhees is enough to freak her out. And Freddy tries pulling him in, and while he's doing that, Jason's like drowning in the real world. So Kelly Rowland is forced to try to give him mouth to mouth.
So let's address something real quick. Lori, now she has the power to jump into Jason's dream.
Yeah. How is that possible?
Just because she's laying down beside him?
Laying down next to him. Yeah. See, science. That's a very good point that you picked up on. I completely overlooked that.
Yeah, I know.
You've dreamed the same dream when you sleep right beside each other. If only that would work in every single one of those movies.
Yeah, and that's right. It's very rare. I mean, it happens in part 3.
It only happened in part 3, but they did like this dream power where the blonde chick, Kristen, I think her name was, called Nancy's name and literally pulled Nancy into the fucking dream, which was crazy. But anyways, so Kelly Rowland tries to give Jason mouth to mouth, but this wakes him up and the car crashes. So Jason disappears and Freddy just goes ape shit and tries to kill Lori, and then like boom, she's back in the house. 1428 Elm. And while doing this, Will Linderman, yeah, that's his name, and
I
Kia.
love Linderman.
Linderman's like the MVP in this fucking movie.
Fucking
I swear.
MVP of this movie.
I want to be Linderman. I want to be Linderman, roasting anyone who bullies me, and it's just a chat,
He's like,
just a champ.
He reminds me of the Greg Gilardo of the fucking group. I don't know if you guys are into comedy.
Geraldo,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of the Greg Giraldo of this fucking group. Like, you know what? Fuck everybody. Now it's my turn to talk. And guess what,
Fuck
Kelly?
you
bitch.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like,
you're cool.
You're cool, but you're a bitch. And fuck you too. Like,
yeah, so they're in Camp Crystal Lake. Wow, heaven forbid the car crashes at Camp Crystal Lake. So they're going into this cabin and Jason's there. Meanwhile, Lori sees her dad try to kill the mom, but in reality, Freddy pops up. And I love this line. I always had a thing for the whores that live in this house.
Yeah, I had that written down too. That's a great line.
Fucking amazing line. So now this confuses me. Where did Freddy possess the dad, and did the dad kill the mom, or was the dad trying to protect the mom and try to kill Freddy?
She was dying in her dream. So it while she was dying from whatever happened in her dream, it appeared as though she was dying at the hands of her husband, but he was trying to prevent whatever was occurring. But of course he couldn't.
Yeah, because he was standing there clueless, so he probably had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question now about this.
All right.
As I ordered DoorDash for like the second time. My question to you is kind of what Willie just said. Was it Freddy that possessed the father to kill the mother of Lori, or what Asa said, which was Lori's mother was already dying, so he kind of just assisted, I guess you could call it.
I think it makes more sense. Like the dad heard the mom dying and he grabbed a kitchen knife to see what was going on. And
or was it the fact that maybe the mom knew the truth and she was going to tell Lori what really happened to Will?
I don't think Lori would have no clue who the fuck Freddy Krueger was.
No.
The mom was dead.
No. What I'm saying is, what if the mom knew the truth who Freddy was originally before who he became? And was going
I think the father actually covered up everything to protect Lori, but in doing so,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, in doing so, he did it wrong.
What if the mom knew who Freddy was prior to his death?
It wouldn't matter because she's
not
dead.
Knowing who Freddy became after he died, but who he was prior. And
it wouldn't matter
if Lori was going to be a victim of Freddy's hand, covering it up, what the father was doing.
I don't think she'd know a lot about Freddy's lore.
No, like what? No, not the lore of his history. I'm saying like, what if like, because if we go further ahead in the series and stuff, to 2010, Nightmare on Elm Street the remake, everybody like in the beginning of this movie is throwing Molotovs, into the warehouse or the janitorial supply room, where Freddy is, to kill him, because the town's not doing, the cops aren't doing anything about it. He got away with the murders. He got away with everything. So now the town took it upon themselves to kill Freddy because they knew that he was a child molester and he was a pedophile and he was killing these kids. So what if Lori's mother knew that Laurie was a victim of Freddy prior to his death, and she was going to say something to Laurie about why where Will went, and the father who was covering it up.
Will didn't go to Weston until the mother died.
Killed his wife.
Will didn't go to Weston.
To keep
Will didn't go to. Will was at the window when the mother died. She would have no clue where Will went. Will would still be fucking around in town when this happened. You know?
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so Will didn't go to Weston until the mom died. Yeah, he was there. He saw it. So
that's
yeah,
talking.
And then afterwards was probably the most uncomfortable part of the movie, especially in current society standards. Yeah, Freddy tries to rape Laurie. Freddy. Yeah.
And he says,
get you back.
It's gonna be a little. He says it's a little messy the first time.
Yeah, welcome to my world, bitch.
So
as he takes her dress up with his clawed hand.
Yeah, the upskirt.
It's so crazy to hear that line by Robert Englund. It's just like, dude, like,
I love you, but you wouldn't pay me to say that line.
Yeah, God bless him. You know what I mean? Like, God bless Robert Englund.
Although, in his defense, the character is probably 18 years old.
Oh, she
that
is.
That doesn't help the situation at all. At all in the slightest. That doesn't help the situation at all. This girl could be 30. She could have been fucking 30, dude.
I'm just saying, at least.
Get messy the first time.
She's 18 and looks 25. I don't think Freddy Krueger cares.
You know, grab that. Grab that.
Looks 25.
What's the pill's name again? Hydroxyl. Heptacil. Grab the Heptacil because everybody's gonna want to fucking forget this shit. Like this shit is gonna get fucking buck wild right now.
No, we need all the Heptacil. And then during this, Jason pulls up, like he pulls up a lot in these movies.
He's just getting jealous.
He tripped over the can of gasoline.
I think Jason's just getting jealous that he's not taking a lot more of the spotlight from Freddy. So
Freddy's there to fuck people over, and Jason's there to actually finish the job.
Right.
That's really it. So he pulls up. The whole thing goes on fire because he trips over a thing of gasoline.
How do you trip over?
And then his machete gets stuck on a table, which, okay, sure. But in doing so, Linderman pulls up with this fucking America flag and tries to poke him with it. Jason fucking throws his ass in I don't know, this weird, like, spike thing on the wall.
Tom Brady, fourth quarter touchdown.
Yeah.
Hail Mary pass for all you football fans out there playing the Giants, but guess what? You still lost to the Giants anyway. You know, like that straight passing it like, God, please catch that shit.
Yeah, and another thing, too, is, like, after Linderman gets stabbed, Kelly Rowland and Linderman leave. It's like, what, Kelly Rowland cares for this fucker now? I thought they hated each other.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought they hated each other. Like, especially, I know that this scene happened in the middle of the second fight, but it was like when Kelly Rowland is with Linderman, it's like, I'm going to get help as soon as I can. Oh, you're really hurt. It's like, I thought you were supposed to hate the guy. Oh, well, we have two killers going after us. We'll put our personal differences aside. It's like the WWE. Whatever personal feelings we have for each other, let's put it aside. Everything's squashed. But after that, Will accidentally puts Laurie's hand on a thing of fire while dragging her body. So in doing so, Laurie pulls Freddy into the real world. And Jason just looks at him and throws a fucking table like, oh, that motherfucker. Yeah. And then we're in our second fight. And, I love this. This is my favorite scene in the entire fucking movie.
All right. I want to hear from Asa quickly because I have a quick question. I have a quick question for both of you because this is kind of where I unfortunately fell asleep. I know we talked about it, prior to going live and everything, kind of just like rehashing the old
You
memory.
fell asleep at the best part.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, man, it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was beat. I was tired. I had like
We
4 or
ended
5
at 11.
I had 4 or 5 Steve Weisers. I was up at 5 a.m. prior working. Like it was a long day. Money in the Bank, Collision. It was a long day. But nonetheless, let me and this goes to both of you, but I want to hear from Asa first. When we get to the scene of now we're in Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
This is the final showdown between Freddy v. Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that, or I should say, do you think that the way that the events transpired of how we killed Freddy really put, I mean, clearly no, but for you at the time, before we knew the other movies are going to be made, do you think that this was the perfect way for Freddy to go back to hell? Or do you think that the way it should have been handled was that Freddy could have been, I get maybe killed a different way, in a sense of maybe like, because refresh
I
my
like the
memory.
way he was killed.
Like he wasn't decapitated. Was
He
Freddy?
was.
Freddy
was
Yes,
decapitated.
eventually.
So Freddy was decapitated while they were in the water, and Jason's hand kind of had Freddy's head.
Oh no, Freddy was on the deck, but we're nowhere near that scene.
We're nowhere near that. But to give a quick answer to your question.
Yeah, I do you think like because I know you're a fan of the series, and I know Willie, you're a fan of the series.
Oh,
The way that we kind of transpired into this movie, and then of course the extras that we got throughout with other
the extras don't count.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think this was the perfect way to kill Freddy and Jason's battle between one another, or do you think that maybe because I don't think it was rushed. I won't say that because
the second battle wasn't the second fight wasn't rushed at all.
It wasn't rushed at all. But do you think that maybe the way that we ended this could have went to a Freddy v. Jason 2?
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot more interesting if it had ended in Jason's dream. I mean, we have all these practical effects still. I mean, the Nightmare on Elm Street series is always at its best, I think, when we're doing things with dreams. That's why it's so interesting to begin with, is mixing dreams with reality. And, you know, Freddy goes for Jason to begin with because he sees him as a mental weakling. And I mean, let's be frank, not to be mean, but he is. Jason is a mental weakling. That's why Freddy goes with him. He thinks he can control him. So what better way to have Freddy defeated than have him go in Jason's psyche and be fucking with his dreams, and then have Jason with his weak psyche somehow still overcome Freddy in his dreams. I think that would have been much more interesting.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, like, you know, going back to a point that we were making prior, like, I feel like that's another thing that they lacked in that boiler scene room by not just rushing it, but like they're not playing on that psyche of who Jason Voorhees is. Jason Voorhees is really still a child. He's still a child in a man's body who is mentally incapable of being a regular, or at least a regular standard of a human being to some aspect. And the fact that they didn't play upon that not lore, I should say, that's the wrong word, but a play upon that ability that Jason is, was, I think, one of the weakest points of that first battle scene. And that's why many people kind of, at least for me, I kind of like overlook that battle scene as like their first battle. And I kind of look at more the ending as like, this was the grand finale we should have got a taste of here in this portion of the movie.
Yeah.
compared to what we got at the end of the movie, because what we got at the end of the movie was so much better than what we got in that boiler scene
I
action
think
because of the lack of XXX and X.
hold up. I think that the boiler room was I'm going to say this word, the cock tease to the grand finale. I think that it was just a taste of what we're going to get in the grand finale, or you could play on this point that round one goes to Freddy because it was in the dream world, he controlled it, and now he knew that Jason's afraid of water and all that fucking shit.
But he's not.
Round two goes to, I know he's not, but in this movie he is, and it's stupid. Round two goes to Jason because it's in the real world. He's got the advantage. Freddy's just a guy with fucking claws at this point. And Freddy held his own in this fight. Don't get
He
wrong.
definitely did.
He definitely held his own. He almost fucking killed him at one point in the fight. But, but Jason definitely had the advantage. And it was at Camp Crystal Lake. So it was like Laurie said in the movie, actually. Yeah, Laurie said in the movie, it will be his home turf. He'd have home field advantage. So, I mean,
plus he's still like a superpowered zombie.
Oh yeah,
right.
Just, in the dream world, he got his fucking ass kicked.
He's the main boss of the whole entire Dark Souls series.
Yeah, like in real world, Jason can't die, and Jason can just fuck around with you. Case in point, in the beginning of the fight, where he's throwing Freddy through all these fucking windows, and he's just running right through all these fucking glass windows and all these wood poles and shit. And then he throws him on the roof of a fucking cabin. Oh my god. And then we break away from the fight for a little bit.
Yep.
And Freddy tries to confront Laurie and Will, but Kelly Rowland's like, "Hey, boy, come on here. Come on here." And then she's like trying to roast the shit out of Freddy Krueger.
Oh, wait, you left out his line when he says, "How sweet,
how sweet, dark meat." I almost overshot.
Yikes.
Thank you. I completely overshot. That's a fucking great line.
Oh my lord!
One-liners in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Dog.
Talk about another line that would not be in this movie today.
Not even remotely close.
Yeah, he said this line today. Holy shit! It wouldn't even be black people that's mad. Let's be honest with you. It'll be white. It'll be us whites being like, "Hey, you can't say that. You can't fucking say how sweet dark meat in this movie." Like, yeah, no.
Jesus Christ!
You can't fucking do that. And it's a woman too? What? No. But, yeah, that was fucking crazy.
We would have made a lot of people upset with that.
You have to re-edit the movie. She's empowered. You have to re-edit the movie to where she defeats Freddy in the first 3 minutes of the movie.
She's
re-edit it and re-release it.
Yeah, and that's the bonus feature. Different ending. There's two different endings to this movie.
She would do what Vince wanted Bianca Belair to do. Take off the earrings. Oh boy, you fucked up now. Beat the shit out of him. But anyways, in reality, in 2003, she roasted the shit out of Freddy, being like, I like this line too, where it's like, "What with the knives? Are you trying to compensate for something?" And it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
And another line, one more line that wouldn't be today, where she says she calls him the F word. She says,
"Yeah,
you know what kind of F word wears a Christmas sweater?"
Oh, you know? And then we piss off a whole other demographic there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, and that one's a little bit.
I guess it's a good thing we watched it in July. Than June maybe.
In June it'd be
that space right there. That would have been really rough. All
three of us wouldn't have careers at the end of that.
Yeah.
All three of us wouldn't have fucking careers.
Well, that's why it's the F word. I'm saying it's the F word.
That's why you say the F word.
Very smart from Asa. Very smart.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 years ago we'd say it. Now we can't say
it. Yeah, now it's the F word, right?
Again,
now it's the F word. But then I like this when like Kelly Rowland's going off and then Freddy like lifts up his like finger thing and it's just like behind you. And then there goes fucking Jason. Oh.
Yeah, it's like Looney Tunes.
Kelly Rowland goes fucking flying.
Wild Coyote gets fucking pulverized by the Roadrunner real quick.
One slice of the machete, she goes fucking flying, and then the fight continues. Yeah, and one wacky part of this fight, when there's like, I don't know if they're propane tanks or something, but it's like torpedoes flying at Jason.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck those are.
I don't know. I always think they're propane tanks, but I think they'd explode if they hit Jason. So I don't know, but
Well, Jason doesn't go on fire when he finally falls into the lake.
well, nah, we went on fire.
Wow, I
We
really
went on
fucking.
fire. Both of them went on fire.
I really fucking fell asleep in the last 15
Yeah,
minutes.
they both went on
Like,
fire.
I really fell asleep in the last
And
15
then-
minutes of this movie.
Yeah, and then he lands on this thing, and then Freddy puts a bunch of spikes into him. He tries pushing a cart full of dirt at him. Didn't end up working. So Freddy's like, "Oh, give me a break!" And he's trying to push this fucking cart, but in doing so, I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but it's like bashing into the platform where Freddy is. He falls down and he lands on this thing, so he's just fucking flying. This portion of the fight was fucking wacky. And then the go-kart ends up going down because the stupid fucking thing keeps bashing into it. And then when the cart hits Freddy and Jason, they go fucking flying and land on the deck near the water. And then Jason's wrecking some shit. He's fucking like killing Freddy. And then Freddy manages to chop Jason's fingers off. And then he's in control. And this was where I loved this portion of the fight, where Freddy pokes Jason's eyes and you see all the blood coming off and all that. It's like, holy shit. The first time I saw this movie, it was like, holy shit, Freddy the Dream Guy is going to kill Jason in the real world. So I thought that was going to be crazy. Nah, here comes Laurie, fucking Laurie Strode, fucking meets Lara Croft, running with two flaming, I don't even know what the fuck those are, flaming things. And she's like, Freddy, go to hell. Burns the thing, and while Freddy's distracted, Jason just fucking right through Freddy's body, pretty much. And oh, that was just so fucking wild. And then Jason just goes full Chewbacca, rips Freddy's arm off, and then Freddy stabs Jason in the chest with the machete. And then while doing so, Laurie and Will, who are coincidentally still on the island, I mean, there's a boat right there. You could have just left while
they could have left like a whole bunch of times.
Oh no, I forgot. Laurie said, "Hey, Freddy ruined both of our pasts. I'm not leaving until I see him die. I think he's dying right now, Laurie. You could go leave." But no, they have to blow the fucker up first. So they do. And they think everything's all fine and dandy until Freddy shows up with the machete in one arm. He goes to kill him. Jason stabs Freddy's arm through Freddy's chest, and then he falls right into the water that he's so afraid of. And then he drops the machete. Laurie picks up the machete. Welcome to my world, bitch. Beheads the guy, and that's it. And then this was the part that, well, no, I don't think it confused me knowing what they were building up to. Jason's like sinking, and Laurie gives him like a look of respect and drops his machete in the water, kind of like a thank you. And it's like, this guy murdered all of your friends.
Butcher the shit out of your friends, and you give them back the weapon that did just that.
I'd keep that thing in case the fucker came back. I'd be like, man, I gotta be armed. I gotta be prepared. Like, I get it, he killed the dream guy, but the dream guy, okay, the movie's over, by the way, besides Jason rising up, Freddy winking. But now I get to make this point. That, why is Freddy the bad guy? Why is Freddy the bad guy when in reality, he only had one kill. You want to know how many kills Freddy had? One. Want to know how many Jason had? Like 16.
Because he's a child molester.
Is your dog barking because of the fireworks too?
I don't think I heard any fireworks.
I don't have a dog.
Ripley,
Bailey was barking because of the fireworks prior.
what you doing? It's okay. It's
I
all
don't
right.
have a dog, so I know it's not me.
Yeah, it's either me or Asa. We're the ones with dogs, unfortunately.
Gotta love fireworks.
You know, I have to say this though, quickly before you guys finish up your statements and stuff. You know, I know we kind of touched upon it prior, but there's about maybe, to me at least, 4 scenes that kind of give that Freddy v. Jason 1-1 a piece in the scoreboard.
Yeah.
If you want to rate, you know, who has that leverage up. Jason kind of came in on the last 2, you know, kind of more or less with the boiler room going into the finale fight. Freddy kind of came in the beginning in the sense of still being able to haunt dreams and bring the children back into that realm of fear. So when Jason kind of gets that one leg advantage to make that score even 1 apiece going into, I thought maybe evidently Freddy v. Jason 2, which I know for a while was rumored and talked about and semi-written, but never came to light. You know, maybe Freddy would come on top. Maybe it would be Jason that came on top. But the way that this movie ended, it almost felt like, even with the way that the movie ended, the actual ending of this battle would still be tied between both of them. I don't think there's really a leverage between both villains for the franchises. I mean, you know, us as fans would be like, oh no, you know, Freddy's better or Jason's better or, you know, whatever. But like when it became a Freddy v. Jason type of thing, I feel like if we did ever get a Freddy v. Jason 2 movie, it still kind of would be like 2 apiece, and there'd never really be a clear winner of who was the stronghold of the 2. You know what I mean? Like, because, you know, Freddy has all these advantages. Jason has that reality advantage, because when Freddy's really in the reality, yes, he could still use a lot of his abilities that he can in the dream state, but they're not as either strengthened from the dream state that they are in reality. That's why, like, when Jason cut his arms off in the boiler room and Freddy was like, oh my God, my arms, he grew them back. It was like he was in his home. But when Jason kind of got his, his fair shots, Jason wasn't like, oh my God, like, you got me. It was like, haha, bitch, you're in my world now. It's my realm. It's my turf. It's my home field advantage. This is my ground. You can't beat me in reality. I might not be able to beat you in Dreamland, but you can't beat me in reality because your powers aren't as significant as they once were in that dream state. So even if we did ever get a Freddy v. Jason 2, I still feel like we'd still be tied on who was the successor of the both of them. I mean, I could be wrong. You know, maybe it is Jason, maybe it is Freddy, you know, but I feel like that's more like what the director would kind of let us decide as fans of the franchise.
Yeah, it's kind of like an epic rap battle. It's like, who won? You decide.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good point. You know, because like, you don't, like for me, Freddy always for me. Like, I'm a huge Freddy fan, and I dressed up as him for Halloween once, and like I'm a fan. But You know, Jason does have that reality, and he does have that sinister silence to him that Freddy doesn't, because Freddy's very loud and obnoxious, and you know, like ha ha ha, bitch, you know, the claws and the scraping and the nails and the sing along song, and you know, he might have a few extra like tools in his bag, but if they're not used in that dream state, what are they really in the reality state? You know, he could be in the reality state for a period of time until those powers, like when we saw in the beginning of the movie, I'm not strong enough yet. It's because the reality doesn't work the same way as when he's used in the dream state. And I feel like that's also because of the fact that when he was burned alive and killed, that aspect, that ability was burned with him. So he could only haunt you in your dreams. He can now only continue his killings and his spree in your dreams. He can't kill you in reality, but the end result is in reality, which is very interesting to have that as a villain. Like, you know, you go to sleep tonight and you die in your dreams, but in reality you also die as well. It's very interesting because now it's like a double-edged sword. You don't know what becomes real, what is reality or whatnot. But if you bring him out of that dream state, his powers are only useful for such a period of time, to where like when you cut his arm off now in Camp Crystal Lake, and his arm's just hanging there, and it's his fingers, and it's like, fuck, like now, like, you know, now I'm weakened. I'm really weakened. I'm not the same Freddy Krueger as I once was. I'm not the same ability, you know, I don't have the same abilities now that I can pull out of pocket at any moment. So, you know, I don't know. That's how I looked at the movie. I could be wrong, but you know, to me, like if we ever did get a sequel to this prequel, like I feel like the director wouldn't even let us have that clear victory in the movie. I feel like they would kind of let us have that as a fun fact for all of us to be like, you're wrong, it's Freddy, you're wrong, it's Jason, and be able to explain and you know, give examples, etc., etc. So, you know, to me, that's, you know, that was the only thing I wanted to say to that, but I'm letting you finish and stuff. So,
speaking of it being a tie, like I said, I went to see it opening night in the theater. So the crowd was like raucous, you know.
Oh yeah,
the crowd was great.
That'd be so great.
And so when the closing shots, closing shots, you know, Jason, it's a great shot where there's smoke, you know, it's that super clear shot where there's smoke and there's water.
Yep.
And it pans over, and Jason is walking up out of the water.
Yep.
And you know, we didn't know what we were going to see. We didn't know what the fuck was going on at first. And we see Jason, and half of the crowd is like, yeah, 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 yeah. And then we see what he's holding in his hand, and then we see it's Freddy's head, and I'm just like, man, fuck, Freddy lost. And because his head is just lifeless, and then he gives that wink, and then the other half of the audience goes, yeah, you know,
right.
Like,
that point is like,
that was one of the coolest moments I've ever had in a movie theater, was the ending of that movie.
And I think like that was such a great way to end the film.
Oh yeah,
like, to fans of Jason, you gave him that win.
Exactly.
Like, holy shit, Jason killed Freddy. Oh my god, fuck Freddy. Fuck. It's like that Roman and Jey Uso thing. It's like, fuck Roman. He's trash. We always knew he was trash. You know, like, good for him that he won the Universal, but fuck him anyway. But then Jey got the pin. Jey got the pin on Jey. And it was just like, holy shit, we knew Jey was going to get the pin on Roman. We knew it. And it was just like that wink, that clearance of like, guess what? It's not over. And it never will be over. And that, I think, is so much more, it's such a bigger statement than having Jason just come out with his lifeless head and being like, I won, put it on a stake, call it a day, and that's that. Let me go back into my grave and die. It's just like, no. Here's your wink. Freddy's coming back. Like,
Yeah.
I just went
It's
back to
such
my
a good
boiler
ending.
room. Yeah, like I just
Yeah.
went back to my boiler room. I'm just chilling. I'm recovering. Don't worry, folks. I'm coming back. And
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, good. Exactly. Like, to your point, Asa, it's a perfect even keel. You give the fans of Jason that quick, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But then you hit him with the psych, I lied. Freddy's also alive. And it's just like, oh my God, this shit's never going to fucking end. And it's
Mhm.
fun because, like, for us as horror fans, now we wait. Now we wait till that moment happens where they're like, let's do Freddy versus Jason 2.
But they never will, unfortunately.
And I don't think they ever will. I hope they do. You know, especially what kind of CGI and stuff we have now.
I hope they never do. If it's not Robert Englund, they shouldn't do Freddy.
No, I
No.
don't. Yeah, I agree. I you know, I don't know. I might be the weird one out of here, but like when they redid the movie in like what, 2010, 2011?
Yeah. 2010.
2010.
2010, right? The guy was good.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying he wasn't good.
Yeah, he did.
He just wasn't Robert Englund.
Robert
I mean,
Englund,
it's
right?
yeah.
And like,
There's
you know,
nobody could have matched it.
yeah, there's nobody that's Robert Englund.
No.
There's nobody that's gonna come close. There's we could sit here and talk about, even for wrestlers, TV shows, like we could sit here for days and talk about, there might be and everybody loves Raymond, but it's not gonna be Ray Romano. It's not gonna be Kevin James doing the King of Queens. It's not gonna be, for some it's Sean Connery, and it's not Pierce Bronson, or some it's for Daniel Craig, and it's not Pierce Bronson. It's, like there's always going to be that. It's never this person. It's never going to be this person. We can make 40 fucking movies with this person, and this person's good. And there's moments where it shows of Robert Englund and inklings of Robert Englund, but it's not Robert Englund at the end of the day, and it never will be. It never will be that Jason Voorhees that we know of. It won't be that same feel, that same oomph that we want to have in that Freddy versus Jason film. So, it sucks, but at the same time, it's like, I'm happy they made a one and done and kept it at that 1-1 score, because if it was like a 1-0, whoever it was, the tide of horror movies, especially for this series, would have been very overweighted by one specific film compared to the other. And
Yeah.
the significance of Freddy, the significance of Jason is so much higher than us. It's such a bigger thing than us, that for horror fans that get into horror, besides like the Insidiouses and all the other movies that came out after or during, like, these are the movies that made you a slasher fan. These are the movies that made you a horror fan. These are the movies that scared the shit out of you. Like, if you see an Exorcist movie, it's nothing compared to Linda Blair. There'll never be another Linda Blair moment where she's rotating her head in the bed, where she's going down the stairs and then going back up again. They won't, like, it might be reiterated, and it might be copied and duplicated and all that good stuff. But that the moment that happened will never be redone. And I think that's what made this movie, for me, like a 3 out of 5. Like, there was a lot of funny moments. There was a lot of good moments. There was a lot of exciting parts. But them ending it the way that they ended it, being very smart, being like, hey, guess what? Jason may have came out of that water with Freddy's head, but Freddy's still alive, and we're just going to leave it at that.
Nice.
Great, cool. I'm comfortable with it. I can sleep at night with it. you know, as a Freddy fan myself. So cool, good.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you made it one against the other. It's just a whole other malarkey that comes with it. It's just not needed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I feel differently. But, you know, to me, like, I think that's the best way to end this movie was that 1-1, and that's that. And you know, JoJo's point, like, of course, I would love a Freddy v Jason 2, but
Yeah, me too. That would have been wild.
there is no Robert Englund. There is no Jason Voorhees. There is no
It's too late. Yeah.
feel like that movie ever again. And I don't want it to be forced. You know, like even with the Leatherface movies like that we got like after the fact, like after the first and second and third, like as they continued on, like it just didn't feel the same. It felt very forced. It felt very like, ugh, okay, we get it. We got the new one now. Cool, interesting, new era, new genre of kids, new plateau of a movie that now is going to possibly be in the conversation for horror movies of this generation or the generation prior. But at the same time, it's just like, it's not the same Leatherface in the middle of Texas screaming, throwing that chainsaw around. You know, that feeling is gone. That feeling is gone. That moment is gone. That can't be redone. That can't be reiterated. You could try to as best as you can. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be that moment again. But you can watch it again 40 fucking times, but it's never going to be the same. Like, you know, the second one isn't the same feel as the first and the third and all the other ones. So, you know, to me, like that's, you know, I don't know. That's my point, I guess, that I'm trying to state.
All right. Well, Asa, what's your rating for this movie and your overall thoughts?
I would give it 3 bones out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the fact that it exists and that there are actually 2 fights of Freddy Krueger fighting Jason Voorhees on film is enough to get it over the threshold and get it to 3 bones, making it pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Because the human characters are not well written. They're pretty stupid. The plot is pretty dumb when you stop to think about it for any amount of time, as we did tonight. You know, pretty much anything we thought about for more than 5 seconds just fell apart. It fell completely apart.
Yeah. How they escaped the prison. Why is Jason afraid of water?
Yeah.
Why are they helping Jason? Why is he in the back of the van?
Why is Freddy a worm? Like, you know,
right.
It's so
how did he possess a kid in the real
than
world?
Answers in this movie.
Why is this cop helping random kids? Why do they black out newspapers and not get tech guys to literally erase the pages? There's a lot of things wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the reason they fucked up, the reason Nightmare on Elm Street was so successful were 2 things. I mean, it was scary as fuck, 1, but 3 things. It was scary as fuck. It was based on a true story.
Yes.
Yeah.
2, and 3, it was simple. Don't fall asleep, or this guy will kill you in your dreams.
Yep.
Yeah. So any idiot can get that, and then you fuck with it too much, and you're gonna fuck it up. And that's what they did in this movie. They fucked with it too much, and they fucked it up a little. And they fucked it up a lot. And then the same thing with Jason. It's a very simple story. He is a killing machine, and he, you know, who is killing to revenge his mother's death, who tried to revenge his death. He is a retarded zombie who will fucking kill you if you step on his land. You try to get any more past there, you're fucking it up. You know, I mean, the
Yeah.
simplicity of these characters is what makes them beautiful characters. It's the same reason Dracula works, same reason Frankenstein works, because you can tell in one sentence what makes them scary and who they are. They're simple. You try and make it more, you fuck it up. But so 3 bones. That's my rating, because they tried to do way too much, and they fucked it up.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm giving this, 3 out of 5. The fact that this movie exists, we should be thankful for. If we don't get a Freddy versus Jason 2, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, like Asa said, it's like the fact that we even have a movie where these two cross over is the first and not the last if you count Alien versus Predator. But it's like,
oh right, oh Jesus,
yeah,
what a fucking crossover that was! I tell you that.
So it was like, I liked how Freddy found what hurt Jason most, to be honest. Water. That was fucking dumb, JoJo. You check out the rest of the review when you have a chance. I hated how Jason was afraid of water. And like,
we talked about that.
We talked in depth about that. But it's like, the movie has its flaws, but it was enjoyable. And it was wacky more than scary, yes. But I think that wackiness is what made it entertaining to a sense. Like, it's one of those movies where you can show a person who's easily startled by horror movies and be like, hey, besides like 1 or 2 scenes, you're golden throughout the whole rest of this movie. Actually, nowadays, you'll be like, you're not even going to flinch. It's like, you're not even going to flinch. There might be a few fucked up scenes here or there, but it's more of a comedy than horror. And I know it might offend a lot of horror fans, but I didn't mind that. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. It's very replayable. It's not one of those entries in a series where it's like, I'll watch it once, then don't ask me to watch it again. It's like, I'll watch it whenever I'm bored or I need a good, entertaining movie. And so 3 out of 5.
Let me ask you a question, and this is because Asa mentioned it. I know now I'm really going to date myself here, and I wonder if Asa actually saw this movie myself. But Asa mentioned, Dracula and Werewolf and Frankenstein. Did you ever watch Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So if you compare the comedy elements of Young Frankenstein to the Jason v. Freddy or Freddy v. Jason movie, it almost kind of sits side by side. I mean, there's a lot more funnier moments with Young Frankenstein, especially when like Peter Boyle is doing the dance at on the stage and stuff.
I was about to say, there's no dancing,
and that, or when Igor's hump keeps changing left and right. Like, I thought your hump was on the right side. No, it's always been on the left, sir. Like those little like comedy aspects, like it made the scary character that supposed to be terrifying and horrifying and all of the stuff that we saw prior in the earlier years, as Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, stuff like that, where he's this like zombie and can't talk, can't do nothing, sees a little girl at the water or whatnot. But then you get Young Frankenstein, where it's Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle, and it's this like levity, it's this pure levity of this horror character. And I feel like maybe the director kind of took aspects of that type of comedy and tried to reiterate it into the 2000s movie of Freddy v. Jason and have that wacky, weird moments. Maybe didn't land as much because, like, if you watch, Young Frankenstein, like we have, and, know, like, that's supposed to be like a funny comedy, more or less than like a horror movie or whatnot. This is supposed to be more of a horror movie than a comedy. So, like, there's that patty cake type of effect. But, to me, like, it's just funny. Like I kind of see when watching something like this, watching movies like this that are supposed to be these like graphic slasher horror, like violent movies that are scary people and all this stuff, and then it's this like young Frankenstein effect. It's just like, like yay, cool, excellent, but like not what we were looking for with something like this. With a franchise that is well known for horror, scare tactics, psychology, and all these other factors that play into these characters' bios. So, it's just very funny to see like where the director kind of stemmed from to make this type of movie itself. So, yeah, no, it's just it's very funny, but yeah, that's all. I just wanted to say that. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, and it's something for movies that got low budgets. Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th were always made on pretty low budgets.
Very low budgets.
But did their best to be scary.
Even
then they get a big budget now for Freddy versus Jason and make almost no attempt to be scary.
Yeah,
it's kind of strange.
Kind of strange for the Halloween films. Like I don't remember what the number exactly was for the first Halloween, but I remember John Carpenter in a bio about like the Halloween franchise when from the movies that he did, he was like the budget was like maybe 20-30 grand.
Yeah, something like that.
Ridiculously low.
Yeah.
And he made a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Out of $20,000, he made an iconic movie that still to this day holds up compared to the other movies that try to reiterate it in some aspect or another and can't even come close. Because like Asa said, like their budgets now are, it's $1 million. Oh, it's $5 million. Oh, it's $20 million. Like, look at the Marvel movies. The Marvel movies are like 30, 40, 50 million fucking dollars. And 75, if not 85% of it is all CGI. It's all CGI. And then you have the rest of the 20%, 25% is all acting. So kudos to the actors to make it more exciting and interesting and drawing you in. But at the same time, like, you take a $20,000 budget back in the 70s and make a masterpiece. And we got what we got now currently. It's just like, should we just give these guys like 40 grand and see what they can do with 40 grand? And then if they do really well, maybe like bump it to 70. And then if they do really well with that, like bump it to like, 120 and like slowly work our way up to that million. Because like maybe then it'll be worth the $15 for movie tickets and stuff. So I don't know. But that's just me.
Hey, Willie, I got a question for you. Have you seen this movie? I know you said you like slashers. Have you seen Funny Games?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yes.
No, actually.
Yes.
You've not?
No.
You've seen the original, Dylan?
No. I saw the re-adaptation of it.
Okay.
I haven't because that was the first time I was introduced to the movie. I saw the 20 whatever the fuck year that it was remade, but I didn't even know there was an original. So you just kind of surprised me with the fact that there's an original.
Yeah, the original.
You wanna break it down real quick before we end?
Well, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just tell you.
Yeah, no, don't spoil
Have you heard of it? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Mm-mm.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Search it out. Search it out. Watch it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
All
Called
right,
Funny Games.
Funny Games. Okay.
Funny Games.
Okay, if you enjoy Funny Games, I could be wrong. But
the original, not the American one. Not the American one.
Not the American.
It's like it wasn't great. Maybe 2.5, 3, kinda. Like it wasn't really great.
Yeah, the American one's not good.
if you like slashers, I could be wrong again, but You're Next
I love Your Next.
kind of took from it, and so did. Oh, now I'm blanking on the name. Not I Know What You Did Last Summer, because that's 97.
No,
But,
that's a good movie.
I can't fucking remember the name now. But you know what original movie was really good, better than the adaptation?
What?
Was
I'll be right
When a
back.
Stranger Calls.
When a Stranger Calls? I have seen that, but it's been a long time.
When a Stranger Calls, and the girl's in the house, and she's the babysitter.
That's the calls are coming from inside the house,
and the
right?
calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
Fucking wild. Fucking wild.
It's been a while since I tell you a movie. Here's a movie, not horror. Have you seen 5 Easy Pieces?
No.
Check it out. I bet I don't know. It came to me as something you might like. We were talking about Jack Nicholson.
I love Jackie.
5 Easy Pieces.
You know
It's
what
Jack,
movie
Jack
really
Nicholson.
shit out of me by Jack
What?
was Bucket List.
Oh, that was a great
That
movie. Yeah.
was going to be absolutely garbage, but him and Morgan Freeman made me cry.
Yeah, it's a great
Made
movie.
me fucking cry. Did you ever watch?
Well, this movie will make you cry too.
Did you ever watch? Are you a fan of Robin Williams at all?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie What Dreams May Come?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it. Yeah, that's a great movie.
The greatest.
It's amazing.
It was one of the most craziest fucking movies.
Yeah.
And the depths that he would go to save his wife from hell.
Yeah, that's an amazing movie.
Insane. You know what also movie was really good? It was with him and Robert De Niro, which honestly I didn't think the pairing would actually be really good. Was Robin Williams plays a homeless man, but he's a schizophrenic. And Robert De Niro tries saving him and tries helping him out. I can't remember the fucking name now.
I know I have not seen that.
It's 19. I want to say 80 something. It's after Taxi. After Taxi Driver. I will say that it's after Taxi Driver. It's a weird. Hold on. Let me Google it. Let me Google it because it is such an interesting fucking movie.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of De Niro's movies. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah, some of my favorite movies. It's called what?
Awakening.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that.
Robert De Niro plays a paraplegic.
Okay.
I totally got it fucked up. So Robert Williams plays a doctor.
Yeah.
And Robert De Niro is a paraplegic.
Okay.
And tries to guide Robert in the direction of trying to be better and trying to be able to cope with the thing, because he's he's paraplegic all the way down. He can't speak really. He's and the whole 9 yards and shit. You know what's another really great movie from Robert De Niro that
this review is already almost 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Many people overlooked, and I wish they didn't.
What?
Is The Fisher King.
I thought you were going to mention that. I've not seen that one either.
The Fisher King is fantastic with Jeff Bridges in him.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And you know what's another really good movie he made? It was one of the fewer movies that he made prior to his passing, God rest his soul, is 1 Hour Photo.
I did see that.
Yeah, he plays this guy that looks like a Rite Aid or whatever that does the photo development. Yeah, dude, it's fucking wild. It's a fucking wild movie. But go ahead, Willie, send us off now, because I know it's been like 3
yeah,
4 hours.
It's like almost 3.5 fucking hours. We're talking about many movies other than the fucking this one. But anyways,
Jason.
That's our
Freddy versus Jason versus the Fisher King.
Yeah,
Yay.
versus the Deliver Us from Evil versus The Shining versus a lot of these motherfuckers.
All right. Well, that's our Freddy versus Jason review. I want to go to bed, so that's it. I want to thank Dylan and No Bones About Wrestling for being on here. I know that this is a wrestling channel, but we decided to do this for a little bit of a refresher. It seemed successful, so thank you to everyone who tuned in
Yeah.
to the stream. But yeah, I'm just gonna go quickly here. So thank you to the two of you for hopping on. This has been your boy Wood Does Wrestling. That has been Last Week in Wrestling, and below me it is a friend of the channel, Asa from the No Bones About Wrestling podcast. We will see you in the next video. Be good.